I want to congratulate you for the successful HEX launch.
Thank you.
I like how the community or certain part of the community embraces it and building all these awesome tools for HEX.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool sites. Off the top of my head, I can think of hexstat.com, hexviz.xyz, hex.vision, hex-data.com, and I think there's a hexinfo.io now. I don't know why everyone chooses a weird random TLD, top level domain, the last three letters there. But I guess like hex.win, you got to be a .win because it's a 3-letter dictionary word. But all those other ones, it's like, I don't know. Seems like they could have got the .coms.
Do you know if any of those tools are actually open source?
I don't think any of them are. I think they all hope to get people to click their referral links.
Okay, because there is this one risk that when they get when they quit, they will take down the website also, and then the community loses a useful tool.
Yeah, that's a risk. So hopefully they've got hexes staked and they're committed to the community above and beyond just their referral income, because they are cool tools.
So I'm Obyte developer, and we had this same similar thing, that we had these huge bull runs during the first year, and after that some people gave up, and after we have basically bought some of the useful tools from them because they were not open source.
Well, most good things in the world aren't. The vast majority of good things in this world are not open source, and only a very, 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 very small subset of useful things are open sourced.
Yeah. Should I go first, telling about myself, or you want to introduce?
Go ahead. Okay, it's your show.
I joined the whole cryptocurrency thing quite late. I first heard about Bitcoin in 2013, but nobody was actually explaining me correctly what the Bitcoin is for. And the only thing I got from it was it's a virtual currency and you can mine it, and you can buy cannabis online. So my first reaction was that this is really stupid. Why would anybody need it? But I didn't know any of the other stuff there. So
what other stuff?
Basically you actually own you have your own ownership of your funds and stuff like that. Because that was more important for me when I discovered it again. And actually, when I discovered it again, it was because of Ripple. Because the first time I heard about Ripple, it was this is gonna kill Swift and these other old banking systems.
Yeah. Yeah, they're killing it so hard that they bought shares in MoneyGram. That's how hard they're killing it. I think
but it sounded like actual use case, because the whole old banking system is horrible. It doesn't work. You can't send on weekends, and it takes multiple business days and so on. So I started to look into the cryptocurrencies again in 2017 summer or end of summer, and then one of the channels I watched was yours, and from there, I think it was Red interview where I heard about the IOTA and Byteball.
Right.
So I got my first Byteball bytes when it was a little bit over 100, and it went after that it went to the 1,000. But when it came down back to 100, I decided to join the community and start developing it. So
yeah, there's this regrettable devs in crypto don't make shit.
Yeah.
The only people in crypto that make shit are exchange founders who rape people with fees, Ponzi schemers who don't even really do crypto. They just use that as an excuse to scam people out of their money. Who else? So there's two types of exchanges. There's exchange that just sells you normal coins. I think you pay about 0.5% if you use Coinbase under like 10K a month. And then there's people that do margin where they multiply the house advantage against you. So like if you have a customer and he's only got $100 and you only make 0.5%, that's like 50 cents. Okay, that sucks. But if you can 100x leverage his ass and get him to multiply the house advantage against himself, then you get 100 times the fees. So like margin trading exchanges are probably the most cancerous and worst thing in the entire space because they just consume and destroy and grind people up into meat that just makes their founders insanely wealthy and doesn't often do anything good for the price of the underlying thing at all. A person will come and invest in 100x, get blown out, and then no actual Bitcoin ever had to get bought because it was all derivative. And how did that benefit the Bitcoin community? So I'm mentioning these things because like you became a dev and you probably thought that would help the price, and it didn't help the price because unfortunately in crypto, the price is totally unrelated to the technology. They have no relation. It's disgusting and it sucks and it's the reality.
But what do you think about all these ICOs of 2017? They made quite much money also.
Yeah. I mean, that's what scammers do. They promise you the world, they get your money, and then your promises don't come true. So it's, to not get scammed, stop believing people's promises. And then, there's a saying that you can never scam an honest man because an honest man, sees that something's too good to be true and he doesn't want paid that much. He sees that it's too much. Oh, you're going to give me XYZ for just this? Well, that's not fair to you. So pay me less, right? Like you can't scam an honest man is the saying. And so like if you bought, some ICO that was supposed to do something stupid and then the price went up really high and you felt really rich and the price went down really low and now you can't exit because they never made the thing and there's no market for it. Well, you got scammed. Like you fell for the shit. You gave them money for promises. So you shouldn't. I don't think that it's the wisest thing to do to fall for people's promises, especially on the internet, because it's free to make big promises, and it's also free to just not do them and just keep whatever people gave you. So it's like you should try and avoid those things, I think.
Well, some of the ICO founders were quite smart, and they converted their Bitcoin or Ethereum into dollars, and now they basically don't have to work for many years, and they don't even have to continue the project, and they don't even have to make a new project. But what I have noticed,
the question is whose fault is that? The people giving away their money stupidly.
Yeah.
If someone runs up to you in the street and it's like, hey, I want to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, and you buy it, who's the dumbass here? You're the dumbass for buying the promise that somebody gives you. And if you're willing to part with your money so easily for promises, the internet will scam the shit out of you. I get messages every single day with people trying to scam money out of me, pretending to be other people constantly.
Well, what I wanted to say was that those who were not smart enough to cash out, they are now making new scams. And
probably, but even if like, you know, in what environment won't scams be created? They're always going to be there. You're never going to get rid of scams.
because what I have noticed is that like there's certain people who give this excuse that I can't change anything from on my previous coin because there's too many parties already involved, and then they make the new coin, and basically it repeats over and over again.
See, here's the thing with that. You're basically trying to turn people into slaves. So you bought some guy's project. Now you want to turn him into your little work bitch, your little slave that just goes and pumps your bags of whatever fucking coin you bought that guy was associated with. I don't think that's honest or moral or ethical. So if a guy gets bored with something, doesn't want to do it anymore, he should be allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants. Unless you have some written agreement by which you have some expectation of this guy and he's supposed to fulfill that thing. So like, I mean, who do Bitcoin dropped in value 85%. Can I go sue Satoshi because his lazy ass didn't do anything to help the price? Should I like send a private investigator to go find him and be like, hey, Satoshi, time to pump my bags, bro? No, that shit's stupid. So I don't think it's fair, honest, or ethical to expect slavery from people that have founded projects, unless you have some written agreement otherwise. And then the question becomes, if your investment thesis is that you're relying on someone's servitude to make gains, well, why don't you do that through a normal structure like we have in the real world in the form of a company where directors of a company have responsibilities to their shareholders? And if you go into the crypto world where you're not using a company and there aren't any directors, well, then you got to drop that responsibility shit because they don't have any. I'm unaware of any developer in crypto that has some responsibility to the holders of a coin. I don't know of any. Do you know of any?
No.
No. And I'm not sure that would be a better world. I mean, do you want your software developers to act like company directors? Do you want Vitalik to have to like not be able to speak about technology at all because it might offend someone? Like, I don't think I don't think you should try and turn software developers into corporate directors because they just happen to have invented a coin. I don't think that makes the world a better place.
So
it's nice that developers can speak, clearly and truthfully.
So what would be the ethical to stick around with the project and actually deliver it, not jump on the next project?
Well, the guy's already been paid in full. I don't think it's in his best interest to actually finish the fucking project from a monetary perspective. Monetary positive EV for that guy is to just go start another project. It's what mathematically seems to make sense. Maybe if he does that enough times, maybe people catch on that their fantasy of them slaving in the future for the project isn't likely to become true. So it's like, would the world be a better place if that guy hadn't founded EOS and had stayed with BitShares? And would the world be a better place if he had stayed with EOS instead of doing whatever his next thing is? I don't really know. I'm not sure. Like, if there's Pareto efficiency. So if a guy founds a thing and gets about as much easy adoption as can be had, and everything else is very impossible or very hard to get adoption, probably is net positive for the world that he move on to the next Pareto efficient thing. If he's inventing useful things. I mean, basically what we're talking about is not getting wrecked in speculation is what we're talking about here. And it's like, would you have been able to predict that BNB would go up 450x over Bitcoin or 433x over Bitcoin in like a year or two? No, you'd be like, what? Okay, so it's a successful ICO. Didn't expect that one, but it was, right? And would you have been able to predict that BSV would be worth $1 billion? No. And would you be able to predict that fucking Chainlink would shit on everything in 2019? No. Okay. Well, then speculating's fucking hard, and it has apparently no root in reality or tie to like development excellence. So it's like, I mean, in the fact that BNB, I think that they have built a fine product and a fine service. So, they've definitely earned it. But some of these other coins that have pumped very hard, did they?
I definitely didn't expect it to rally this much during the bear market.
Right.
Because sure. I was betting heavy on exchange tokens in 2017, but I didn't thought that it's gonna continue.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, people try and speculate when they've got no tools. So you don't know how fast they're onboarding new users. You don't know what domains they're coming from. You don't know what the average deposit amount is. You don't know when the deposits increase. You don't know when they slow down. You don't know shit about shit. And you're just trying to guess like, okay, well, is the fucking price going to go up? And we're the least qualified people to know a lot of times. Like, you know, Coinbase knows how many new signups they're getting and how many new wire transfers they're getting. And if people are leaving their platform or joining it, whether their cold wallet's going up or down balance, they know that shit. But most of the other people in the world don't. And that we're trying to speculate, like, you know, it's like, they, you know, if a guy's pumping his own coin and Ponzi scheming or whatever, he knows what the reality is, but you don't. And then you're trying to like speculate. It's speculation is very, very hard, particularly in crypto.
Yeah. So I've listened or watched many of your videos.
Nice.
And I quite don't understand when you started going like deep into the technology things, because I understand you started with the stereo business or.
Well, I mean, so when I was in school, I mean, I learned scheme programming in middle school, which is a dialect of Lisp, and then
what year was that?
Like 95, 94, maybe earlier. I mean, like a long fucking time ago, 25 years ago, something like that. More like, I mean, I was in middle school, which would be 6th grade. Elementary school, you're maybe like, I don't know, man, really long ass time ago.
What was it mandatory to learn it or?
Well, I was in the super, super advanced smart kid school. And in that school, the curriculum did require you to do that. So it was called MEGSSS, Math Education for Gifted Secondary School Students. And the founder was David Kaufman, who was an MIT guy. And he just decided he would invent new math and just change the way everything was taught. So we would learn logic before math, and we would learn scheme programming, and we would learn set theory, and like a lot of things early that, you know, a lot of people don't learn until a lot later. And so it was unique and interesting and amazing, and best education experience I've ever had was middle school. And everything else got stupider. Like high school was stupider than middle school. College was stupider than high school. I'm like, damn, like, why am I going backwards here? Like, I learned this shit way better the first time a long time ago.
Did you finish college?
No, I went for like, I think 2 semesters, and I quit because you're not learning anything, just paying money to waste your time. So I skipped my senior year and went to college in early admissions just because they pay for it, and I get to just skip a year of school, which is awesome. Just go right to college for free. But then after that, I did like 1 semester paid myself, and then I guess I did a year and a semester, I guess. So like, it's not a good place. You know, if you want to learn, it's there on the internet, and it's better than what you're going to learn in your college. So if you want to learn it, go ahead. It's free. There's no reason for you to fuck around and wake up and drive to some place to go sit in front of some guy to watch him play a video that you could have just watched online. Like, well, the fuck? Why the drive and why the money? Very stupid.
And this was all in Florida?
Yeah. This is in Davie, Florida. It's called Nova High School and Nova Middle School is where I went there. So then, I learned search engine optimization just reading webmasterworld.com, the forums. That's all you had to do, you know. And then,
and that was around 2000 or?
The search engine optimization stuff would have been, I think, 2000 to 2001. So I did car stereo from like 98 to 2000, and I went to search engine optimization, shopping carts, mortgage business, all that stuff. It's about 2 years per business is what it was normally. And
then you retired already 2003?
Yeah, 2003. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, my retirement looks a lot like other people's work because I just like to read and learn all the time. So part of the reason I know so much about technology is because I was, you know, bored and retired, just playing a lot of video games. And when you're not playing games, you just want something else to do with your time. So I just read stuff on the internet. I discovered this forum called Hacker News, and I couldn't barely understand anything they were saying. And it was intriguing to me and challenging to me. So every day now and then, I would read like the first 4 or 5 pages of Hacker News. Just, 100 links, read the interesting ones. And then if you immerse yourself in an environment where you don't understand anything, over time, you'll eventually understand stuff. So as a generalist and as a project manager, I'm able to understand a lot of technological decisions because I've seen all their debates online. Now that's different than being able to actually write the code and know the syntax and the dirty stuff. So if you're project manager or generalist, it's great. If you actually want to produce and, get to market with something on your own, well, then you need to get the P's and Q's correct. The little things are what matter in that case. So I can do, some limited coding, but nowhere near what is necessary to produce something advanced. So I can do it and just take time.
But did you do those affiliate marketing stuff alone
Sure.
or with somebody else?
Oh no, I had 150 employees. I scaled it up. It was good.
So these were like developers and.
No, well, I mean, we tried to build a product called Lead Feeds, leadfeeds.com, where we would allow you to bid on leads, just like people are kind of bidding on clicks through what was called GoTo, but then they changed their name to Overture. And they were responsible for the traffic for sale on Yahoo, pretty much, which is the biggest search engine back then. It was when Google wasn't really that popular yet. And it was before Google had a pay-per-click campaign that they didn't have AdWords at the time. You had to buy banners up top. They don't have that now. Now it's all auction-based, no banners, but it used to be just banners with no auction-based stuff on the right. And then I thought, okay, well, let's do that same thing, but for leads. And so I had 3 or 4 devs for that. I had a guy that just handled networking and DNS issues and keeping servers up. Had a creative team. Had a girl that did graphic arts. I guess I had, let me count. I'm virtually walking through the office here. I guess I had 7 or 8 dev people working at the time, but it's probably could have done without probably 4 of those guys. They were working on the leads feeds, and then 4 or 5 of the other guys are working on other stuff. So it's
So you were basically visionary who told them what needs to be done, and
right.
Okay.
And we never even got a beta, and they just blew my money and wasted my fucking time. So, I discovered that developers will waste your time. And even in HEX, I had a lot of developers waste my time. And you're stuck in the spot where you're like, God damn it. Do I want to hope that they just get the job done? Or do I really want to try and find another dev and replace them and fire them? And we went through so many devs in HEX.
So you started 2 years ago, but what did you had done 1 year from last year? How far you were with the HEX last year?
I thought, hey, it's got to be easy to modify an ERC20. It's just boilerplate code, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just add some business logic to it. It'll be the easiest thing ever. We could do it in a couple months. Nope, not even close. Fucking nightmare. So first problem we run into. Well, first the problem is no one's writing the damn code, and then when they write the code, you look at it, it's just buggy to shit. So I manually am auditing the code, looking. I'm yeah, this is reverse. This should be addition instead of subtraction. Oh, this pays double. This pay and then you go through and you're yeah, it's all fucked up. Nothing here is correct. And then you get the next guy. And you're all right, let's give it a try. Then they start from scratch, and then they end up making something just about as fucked up as the first guy. And you're okay, I guess we'll move on to the next guy. And then the next guy finally gets it right, but then he gets it so right that you can barely understand what he's done. So where the code is at now, we have bitwise shifting for data efficiency to pack storage into smaller spaces, which is not something most devs have any experience with, because most devs are so high up the abstraction layer that they've never had to deal with actually managing storage and shifting bits because it's so low level these days. And then to save gas, there's a storage cache. Since it's cheaper to read from memory than to disk, then you just load everything into memory and just leave it there and read from it, and then only write back to storage if you have to. And this caching system got built in for gas efficiency. Well, that shit makes the code a lot harder to read. So it used to be easy for me to audit the code before the caching system and the bit shifting. And now it's like pretty fucking hard, actually, for me to go through and see what's going on, because you just add these layers of complexity and efficiency. You add layers of complexity to get more efficiency, but at the cost of like technical debt, right? So like it's harder to audit, it's harder to read, but thank God, because it works and it's awesome, and it's cleared multiple audits, it's cleared 3 audits. So finally,
what's the like one of them is not published. What's the problem with that?
Well, the lead dev has to write a response on why he thinks safe math is stupid, because they say safe math is good and we say safe math is stupid. And so it's a computer science argument to the degree of what % of bugs do you think safe math will catch? And what's safe math? Safe math prevents buffer overflow and buffer underflow, where you do some math that's integer math, and then you end up with like a negative number or division by 0 when you shouldn't. And then your contract will throw an error and just not function properly for that transaction. And so it's a way to prevent that from happening. And, there's other ways as well. Like you can do end-to-end testing and fuzzing, which we've done. And so this subset of math errors that safe math will catch it's not actually that good. So like it's like if you...
Well, it's basically a tool for beginners, but if you have already taken care of that some other way, you don't need it.
Right. And so the question is, do you want lead dev to pull his time off of doing dev things to go write some shit, to go clear an audit that no one will even read or care about? Because we've already cleared an audit and no one asked me a fucking thing about it. I mean, to tell you, like, why isn't anyone asking to replicate the UTXO top hash? Like, how do you know there's not fake UTXO in there? No one gives a fuck. No one cares. Literally, no one cares. They just trust, which is funny because crypto is designed to be not trusted. So it's just like, I mean, like so many things wrong with
so
crypto.
Was it the UTXO set was like your main concern that's gonna backfire?
No, like I'm just saying that if when you're trying to allocate your time, you want to be as efficient as you can. And so right now you have things like, do you want HEX to have more users? Okay, then you should be doing outreach. Now, when I say you, I mean you, Tarmo. Like if you want HEX to have more users, you should be doing outreach. Do you want HEX to have a better sales pitch? Well, then all of the answers that are in all the chat rooms should be ported to the website, because there's a lot more people on the website than the chat room, and those guys are being starved of those answers. We already have them written, so they should be placed there. Do you want to see, so we've got eyeballs, and then we've got conversion, and then we've got convenience and security. So could we finish the ChainSec audit by writing a little bit of text and sending it back to them for them to digest? Sure. And so the question is, which one do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on eyeballs or conversion or security and convenience? We're already over secure. Nobody's got as many fucking audits as we do. And this third audit, that the bug finding phase is over. We're just talking about presentation now. They're not going to find any more bugs. That phase is complete. So there's no security benefit to completing it. There's just a marketing benefit to completing it. And no one even gives a shit to read the audits. So like, we've already got 2 audits published. Publishing a third one, I don't think would make a large difference to the project at this point. I'd love to get the equity out for the money that was invested in the fucking thing and actually get the published result. But right now, I'd much rather have other improvements other places. I'd rather have messaging.
I noticed that people doesn't even bother to read the website or even the guide for like beginners, how to understand the smart contract, because
people show chat and want you to type the website to them line by line because they're stupid.
And even then they disagree with you, and it's like
right.
How are you gonna supposed to explain something that if they can't read code and then they disagree with you, but they even haven't looked at the code.
Exactly. They don't know anything. They just know you're wrong.
Yeah.
So you're like, excellent. And I get this shit all day. People are like, Hex is a Ponzi. I'm like, you understand Ponzi's fail when they can't make, like, they fail because they can't meet their obligations. Can you tell me what obligation Hex has? It's code that you run and you mint your own rewards. So what are you going to not mint your own rewards to yourself or some shit? It can't fail. It doesn't make any promises of anything that it can't do. Like, it's just code that you run, and I described to you what it was designed to do, and the auditors say that it does, and the real world is doing what it's supposed to do, and then, like, it can't possibly be a Ponzi. It can't make you promises that it doesn't meet. It's software that you run.
And I have even heard, like, some people say that it's centralized, and I'm like, oh.
Right.
And then you like listen more what they say, and then you realize that they think it's centralized because the flash address has all the ETH, and they think that they're gonna get it back. And I'm like,
what?
Like,
Right.
Like, where did you get this? Like it doesn't work like this. You don't get the ETH back.
I don't. It just blows my mind. And then they say shit like, so they say it's a Ponzi. And then they say it's a pyramid. And you're like, you understand they call it a pyramid because there's multiple levels. Okay, can you explain the levels to me? There's one referral level, just like Amazon has.
But what do you say about this criticism that it's actually two levels, and one of them is the origin address?
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, the origin address always gets the
pyramid is not based on it's based on a recursion of behavior. There's multiple same behaviors between levels. If there's differences in levels, then that's like trying to say that Amazon is the Ponzi that feeds FedEx and MasterCard, but their behaviors are too different to try and assign them the same infrastructure. Like, it just
Amazon doesn't do that. The referral gets some bonus, and Amazon gets some bonus.
What are you talking about? Amazon gets all the profit.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they do. So, like, I mean, the problem with Ponzi schemes is that you're putting a maximum number of useless middlemen between product and user. And I'm sorry, not Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes. The problem with pyramid schemes is that they're inefficient because they introduce maximum middlemen between user and product. Does Hex introduce maximum middlemen between user and product?
No.
It introduces minimum middlemen. There's one referral level, and that's it. And
so basically, the more correct would be saying that it's one level, but there's multiple beneficiaries on that level.
But there's not. It's like a thing was invented. The entities that invented it had a structure. And if they didn't have that structure, there wouldn't be an invention. And so do you want the thing to exist or not? Okay, if you want it to exist, then that's how it's set up. And that's it. It's like you can't call like the first level of a thing a pyramid.
But why did you decide that there should be, additionally to the flash address, there should be an origin address? Like, how does that benefit anything?
Are you familiar with EOS?
Yeah.
Okay, EOS generated more revenue than any other thing in crypto ever in history.
Well, they took 10%.
Yes, they
locked
did.
It.
Yep.
But why does and EOS also get all the ETH? But why does Hex need the ETH and all the Hex also?
I'm sure Hex could operate with none of those things. I'm sure some very charitable, nice person could come along with no self-interest whatsoever, and he could invent something that just gave everything away to everybody. I'm sure that could exist. But what we find in the real world is that shit never happens. In the real world, people that found shit like to be rewarded for it.
Because what I have understood from the crypto community is that there's like two things that they hate, and one is the decentralization, and the other thing is that somebody has too much.
I'm sure they hate that because they're libertarians publicly, but emotionally they're socialists. They think they deserve more.
Yeah.
they're losers that haven't done shit. They haven't helped, but they want more. And they want you to have less so that they can have more, even though it hurts the project. So if you've noticed, do we have Linux desktops?
No.
Because decentralization is not efficient. It's actually inefficient. So centralization and vertical integration is what is vastly efficient for the vast majority of human productivity. It's why we have less choice in banks and less choice in social media and less choice in ISPs and less choice in beverages, because vertical integration is effective. And people have limited mind share that they have to spread across everything. So, people make suggestions that are harmful to the project, but they don't understand that they're harmful. So people say, why don't you just have no transforming ETH into HEX and just have a free airdrop only? Well, let's go look at the fucking CoinMarketCap top 100 and let's go see how the best performing airdrop only thing did. It's number 26. Oh, well, that sucks. Okay, well then let's go look at the things that were only lightly airdropped, but mostly not fully airdropped. XRP, BCH, XLM. Bitcoin itself used to be mineable for free. You just double click a file on your computer.
Yeah.
So those are wildly successful. So the most successful projects are those that didn't give everything away for free. They gave away some for free, and then everything else required sacrifice. So when you become aware of that, you're like, okay, do you want your project to be more successful or less? And the same with the referrers. If you only give this away for free and you have a referral program, the only people that can use the referral program are people that had Bitcoin in the past. Can you change people's pasts? No, which means that you've limited yourself to just the tiniest subset of human beings possible. But with a referral program as it is now, anyone that has access to Ethereum can be referred. And now your referrers can onboard 100 times as many people. That's huge. It's gigantic. It's massive. So if you want to onboard 100 times more people, you need to be able to accept something that's current and not something that's past, which is what the Bitcoin claim thing is. It's just the past. You had to have Bitcoin in your own control on December 1st at 7 p.m. EST.
Yeah, I get all that. Why you have two methods.
If you have access to ETH, you can get onboarded, and the referrers can make money on that. And it's worth 10x to 100x as much. There's no comparison. So it's a superior design.
Well, that explains why you have BTC
I can't hear you for
free
some
claim
reason.
and
hold on a second. My mic had dropped out. Go ahead, start over.
So that explains why you have BTC free claim, sure, and why you have the ETH adoption amplifier. But
why? The origin? Yeah, the origin was already there. So the origin existed the whole time because the ETH thing didn't exist.
Ah, okay.
And it was like, why get rid of anything? Like, why? So if you've already got everyone, if you've already fought the battle and made everyone cool, understanding that there's an origin address and it gets to share bonuses, and then it improves the project by adding this ETH onboarding thing, I don't understand why it should get a pay cut.
Okay.
It's like, let's give Origin a pay cut so that everyone else can get more so that they can dump it on market. It's like if your design intention is to make something appreciate as much as you can, I think the ways that you can try and achieve that are by making sure no one ever sells. So locking up is one way to do that, or making sure they never have the coins to sell at all is another way to do that. And then, building something awesome and designing something awesome so that it onboards people in the real world. So I don't see there being a huge advantage in giving a bunch of people coins that want to sell this shit for cars, because I think that hurts the price. I don't see a big advantage. If you have to choose between allocating your coins to people that just will only sell at a very high return or will sell at a low return, fuck the low return guys. Why do you want them hurting your price performance selling early? They're not helping the price selling into it. I think it's funny when everyone free claims their coins and thinks that they're fucking, doing some miraculous thing for the world, taking free money that's handed to them. It's like, hey guys, look, I'm glad you enjoy the free money and shit, but you barely earned this. Okay, you're lucky it exists. Congratulations to you. You're lucky crypto's here, and that all these devs work for free for your ass, and that we're all standing on the backs of giants building in free software. Lucky for all of us. But let's not pretend you're fucking curing cancer or helping starving kids or shit. You bought a bag of something, and now you hope the price goes up. You're not curing cancer. You're not helping starving people. You're speculating, and you're trying to get rich. That's what crypto is about.
So what made you realize that you have to add the adoption amplifier?
Can't remember.
Because I remember that back in January, you didn't have it yet.
I think I finally understood what EOS did. Actually, it was when someone told me how shitty airdrop only did. I think that was the moment. Someone told me, they're like, airdrop only coins don't do that well. And I was like, what do you mean? And and it was like, I was like, and I would go through my spiel, like, BCH was free and BSV was free and XRP was free, but that's like, they're not totally free. They're partially free. And you're like, shit. And that's also where auto staking came from. That wasn't even my idea. Somebody in chat came up with that. I was like, fuck, that's a good idea. Don't let them sell. Fuck it. You want free coins? Take them, but you got to hold them for a while. Period.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it evolved, Now look, if the project had gone to market earlier, it wouldn't have evolved. It evolved because we're like, well, do you want to delay it a few months and have this extra awesome feature, or do you want to fucking launch early without it? And delaying it was the right choice. Easily the right choice.
Because I remember back in January that it was almost like already done, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy now BTC, and I'm gonna wait for it when you release it. And then it was like, oh, it's gonna take more time. I was like, fuck.
It took almost a year.
Yeah, but the positive side was that I got BTC at a really low price.
I think you got it like 4K at that time, I think. Yeah.
So
thank God. I mean, everybody got lucky there, right? And I wish, I believe in the project. I think it would be successful with or without Origin, with or without Flush, with or without some of these features, just because it does so much cool shit. Like there's so much cool shit in it that I think that it would be successful anyway. But you never know. I mean, maybe you do need a bunch of little awesome things to add up.
Did you try the EOS claiming when it was online, or?
Nope, I never used it.
So I actually used it, and that was the first time I heard about the MetaMask, because I was doing it manually with my Ether wallet, and I was like copy pasting the ABI code and like doing everything manually to participate in this crowd sale. And from there, I actually learned how it worked. So when you said that you're doing this similar thing, I was like immediately knew what it was. But I noticed that many people didn't understand, and they don't still understand how it works. Like some guy said that it's Dodge auction, but it's not Dodge auction.
I don't know. I mean, my first I think my first Ethereum transaction was on the HEX testnet. That's how little I knew about that ecosystem. I knew it worked, and I knew it worked for a lot of people, but I hadn't had a lot of experience like actually running transactions and stuff. So it was a learning experience for me to be like, oh, all right, well, we could choose different test nets and look at all these different test nets. Was that
MetaMask?
Yeah. So you've got Robston and Covan and, some new one. I can't remember what it's called. So you got to, you'll be trying to test the contract and it won't work. And you're like, shit, I was on the wrong network. You got to change your network. And then, different testnet platforms have different ports that they use. So like one would use like 9545 and one use like 8545. And you're like, shit, am I on the right port?
Have you ever used my Ether wallet?
Nope, never used it.
Yeah, that was before MetaMask.
Yeah, I think my Ether wallet, it was the most popular thing before MetaMask came out. That's how everyone did everything back then, in the beginning.
Yeah, so like that's how I basically started this. Like because in 2017, when I was taking part of all those ICOs, I actually used Etherscan to look at their code, like what's the smart contract actually doing.
Right.
And some of the ICOs, I even like found some bugs in the code, and then I didn't participate because. But like most people don't do that, so they and then they start their spreading their FUD about things that they don't even understand.
That's funny. Yeah, like a lot of people went and did things. They went fast and broke things, and their code was broke.
Yeah.
So it's like fucking. They did a lot of very stupid shit during the ICO phase, and a lot of those things went to zero. So I guess in the end, justice was served, perhaps.
So between you joined 2011 or 2013?
I was mining full blocks in the first quarter of 2011. I think the price was like 50 cents. But it was pretty fucking cheap.
Yeah, I have a friend also who did that, but between that and 2008, you were mainly only having
just
Bitcoin,
on vacation. No, I mean there was no Bitcoin in 2008.
I mean 2018.
Oh,
like from like the 7 years you were
just Bitcoin.
Okay.
Didn't know shit about shit. You know, didn't learn about. Didn't really learn about alts until the ICO season was kind of already going. I was player hating everybody. Like, why is everyone getting so rich? This shit sucks. Why is this happening? Everyone stop giving them money. It's dumb. You're like, what are you gonna do? You know, the fucking the people, they want to give their money for shit that's stupid. So you're like, all right, you can't stop them. Because I tried, a lot of other people tried, and they just don't listen. Like, you can scream and yell and make good points, and they don't care. They just do not give a fuck. They fall for the scams anyway. This blows my mind. So, I mean, one thing I learned is that if you want to stop people from being scammed, you have to get to them first with something better so that they don't have the money to get scammed, because they otherwise will not listen to you. They will just get scammed anyway. You're like, well, you know, if everyone invested in the S&P 500, they wouldn't have money left over for these, you know, high yield investment bullshit, you know, make you big promises and then don't follow through things.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that will work. You've only got three options to kill scams. One, regulatory. That only works in countries that have good law enforcement. A lot of countries don't have good law enforcement. And from what we've seen, it only happens after the crime has already been committed. And if you're trying to get money back from scammers, it almost never happens. Well, all right, so if you give up on regulatory, what's next? Yell at them and hope they can flip a switch to be smarter and not get scammed. Well, people don't have a get smarter switch to flip. So what's left? Out competing the scams with the same marketing for things that are real instead of fake. And then you have a chance of scaling. You have a chance of getting your message in front of people. And you have a chance of reaching millions that are currently being scammed by Ponzi schemes. So if you want to save those millions of people's life savings, and regulatory is not getting the job done, and yelling at them is not getting the job done, out competing the other crappy offers for mind share is the only thing that can work that I'm aware of.
How long do you expect HEX can do that? Because
I don't think that we're doing a good job on it at all currently, but we're only 20 days in. We're only 25 days in. So somebody needs to get the HEX message in front of the people that are being exposed to the scam messages, in hopes that they fall for something that is honest and good instead of something that is evil. I guess fall for is not the right language. If people are out there selling fake cryptocurrencies and promising you returns and then exit scamming and stealing all the money, that's bad for the world.
Well, what I have learned during being in Obyte is that it's very difficult when everybody is yelling at you that you're scam.
It's
or
irritating.
You're centralized or whatever.
It's irritating. Here's my perspective on that. These assholes that are going to yell at you, they weren't going to buy anyway. So what's the only utility they could have to the world? Advertising. So if people want to yell about how much your project sucks and free advertise for you, and I tell them this, I tell them, look, if you want to stop scams from being effective, yelling about them just promotes them. You need to warn against them using anonymous language that doesn't expose people to the marketing message. And that's it. But they don't take my advice because they're stupid and they don't fight scams the way that I explained to them. And so what do? Instead? They popularize and advertise the scams because they just don't listen.
So basically you have to find your own audience because there are people who's gonna like it a lot.
Exactly. And when I can tell you, I've had live streams with people that bought because someone else called it a scam. Literally. Like I did that live stream with, was it Jay in his name? It was like Jack or can't remember his name right now, but he bought because everyone else was hating on it. That's why he bought. Because in his experience, things that people hate go up. So, okay.
But he didn't actually look into it, what it actually does either. He just
is a little bit weird to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I don't suggest that method, but maybe that method does work well. I haven't tested it. I haven't back tested to see if drama only is enough to choose the right speculative instrument. If it is, then HEX is a wonderful investment because there's drama pouring out your ears for no reason. It just blows my mind. You're like, hey, we built a fully functional thing. It's free. You can have it if you want.
This actually reminds me a little bit of the whole Star Wars fans, because the people who are like hardcore, like the episode 4 fans, they don't like episode 1. So, but there's a lot of people who like episode 1 too, because they are this new generation, and they don't have this hardcore beliefs like the Bitcoin maximalists have. So there's always an audience for the new stuff.
Yeah, the way that I'm probably going to send a tweet at some point, either during this talk or after it, where crypto is basically where people took the Ford versus Chevy debate and just made it way too serious. I mean, it doesn't really matter whether you like Ford or Chevy. It doesn't really matter whether you like Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, whatever the fuck. All these things work. They actually work. So if you're talking about investment advice and you're talking about which one is going to go up in price, good luck. Good luck with that. I mean, Bitcoin went down 95. Bitcoin went down 85%. Dogecoin went down like 94%, 93%. So that's the difference between the blue chip, the big one, the best one, the most liquid one is like 10%. That's the difference. It's bullshit. It's like this is, the Ethereum is worth 10 times less, yet has never had a mint as many free coins as you want bug. Bitcoin's had 2 of them. Okay, so which one is more secure? I think Ethereum's more secure, but everyone else thinks Bitcoin's more secure, and I think they're wrong because hash rate is security theater. What really matters is bug bounty programs and modularity, and that shit Bitcoin don't have. Now, I can't say that Ethereum itself is very modular. I'm not that much of an expert on it, but I know that it's led to less bugs. So it's like,
well, they had the opportunity to start clean and make clean code, not to improve on some old code.
Yeah, they had less technical debt when they started. So I wouldn't be surprised if the code was more modular and a little better. They're using Rust and Go instead of C++. So more modern languages, who knows? Maybe the reason that they've had less bugs is because they've got better infrastructure design, perhaps. Even if ETH was equally shitty to Bitcoin and they had the same equal suckness, having the consensus code of HEX locked in its own immutable code is modularity on its own, and we have it. So I know 100% that we are more likely to be modular because we start modular because our consensus code is locked, can't be touched.
Yeah,
So you can't fuck it up.
I've also heard like some people say that it's just the ERC20 token, but
Lol.
like it's not true. Like the ERC token, like it's just the standard. It's nonsense.
None of the code that we wrote, which is the vast majority of the code, has anything in common with the ERC20 standard boilerplate substrate. If like you can do a compare and compare the Open Zeppelin 2.0 ERC20 implementation and then compare that against our code, and what you'll find is line after line after line of totally unique business logic that has absolutely nothing to do with the ERC20 standard whatsoever. And you just have people that don't understand what development is.
Yeah.
In Turing complete systems, you can do anything in anything. So you want to add, you want to do 2 plus 2? Okay, you can do that in any language, period. You want to divide, you can do that in any language. You want to store data, you can do it in any language. They're Turing complete. Well, it doesn't matter whether you're using Solidity to do your Turing complete shit, or C++, or Go, or Rust, or Scheme, or whatever the fuck you choose. It's just code. It's just a human being's design decisions being executed by a machine. So
what they don't understand is that it's so small part of the whole smart contract, and what it does is it's actually just making it compatible, not
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just a way to make your token be able to talk very easily to everyone else's tokens.
Yeah,
that's it, and it's useful. It's super useful, which is why 5 of the top 11 cryptocurrencies started out as ERC20s or primarily use Ethereum. So Tether primarily is an ERC20. It's the highest volume cryptocurrency in the world. BNB started out as an ERC20. EOS started out as an ERC20. TRX started out as an ERC20. That's 4 of the top 5, and then we have ETH itself. So that's 5 of the top 11. Not 4 of the top 5, 5 of the top 11 total, because TRX is down there at number 11. It used to be higher. So the stat used to sound cooler when it was like, 5 of the top 10 or 8 or whatever.
Yeah, so like when you started, when you switched from Bitcoin maximalist to actually talk about these stuff, then I already knew those. So for me, it was really easy to keep listening to your videos, because I understood that you're just not this one guy who like repeats the same stuff over and over, and when it's not even accurate anymore. But there's so many these Twitter celebrities who they've been once told something and they never bothered to read anything further
or update their opinion when reality changes.
Yeah, exactly.
Reality does change, and some shit that used to be right, it ain't right no more. So you got to check, like you got to update the fucking worldview when reality changes.
Yeah,
so
I used to be that when somebody changed their opinion on something, I used to dislike it a lot, because I thought that they're hypocrites. But now I have
who do you think are
realized
hypocrite?
that
I missed the start.
So it used to be when somebody changed their opinion on something.
Oh, right.
I thought that they're hypocrite. But now when I see the people changing their opinion on something, I always look like what's changed, like, and when they had this opinion, like, is there something changed why they have this different opinion? Because it's totally okay to have a different opinion after you have learned something more about it. So
yeah, for sure. Like my opinion, I will tell you what my opinion is, why I have it, and the data that I used as inputs to process to arrive at it. So I give you the data, I give you the processing, and then if we agree on data, we agree on processing, we should agree on the decision. It's really that simple. So I don't give you opinions without the data. I don't give you opinions without the processing. And that's why I kill people in debates, because I'm right. It's not just that I'm better at debating. It's that I'm better at debating and I'm fucking right. So the reason I'm better at debating is because I'm smarter than these people. And the reason that I'm right is because I'm smarter than these people. So it's just like, I don't fucking, it's hilarious to me when people that are unqualified to even understand what I'm talking to them about, trying to educate them about, trying to explain to me how wrong I am. They don't know anything. They speak from a position of ignorance. If you ask them, hey, like name the top 10 market cap values, what cryptos are top 10? You can't even name them. You're like, so you understand you don't know shit about the market you're participating in. You don't understand shit about what human beings value. You don't understand shit about shit. And then they yell, they're like, EOS is not an ERC20, it's its own network. I'm like, hey, asshole, do you understand how they launched? Do you know how long they were in ERC20 for? Do you know where all the money came from? Like, you don't know anything. Like, you have to shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And I just run into this all day long. I'm a thought leader in the space. I'm an expert in the space. I know what the fuck is going on. I've developed my own cryptocurrency. I've mined crypto. I've traded crypto. I've done every fucking crypto thing there is. And then these fools, these idiots step to me. And I annihilate them. There's just a trail of bodies behind me from people that have been shown to be foolish in live stream. And I invite them all the time. Today I tweeted, I'm like, hey, smart Bitcoin guys, come on the live stream and educate my 43K followers and teach them about, the truth. Come and educate my followers. Let's do it. Live stream time. And these pussies, they don't accept because they know they're going to get murdered. They know that they can't, if they and I disagree on something, they're going to lose because they deserve to lose.
And some of them even call themselves journalists. Like,
Exactly. They're just cowards. They're keyboard warrior cowards who should shut their mouths and be thankful that I educate them, and then be thankful I give them the opportunity to, get their message out there. So look, if I got invited onto somebody's live stream who had 45,000 followers and he wasn't going to yell over me and it was going to be a real debate and it was going to be a real exchange of ideas, I would accept. I would obviously accept, because let the truth shine. Let the truth shine, and let's have the battle of ideas and let the winner fucking win. And these cowards, they don't accept because they're scared. And they know they'll lose because they're wrong. It's just like, so why not just be right and change your opinion, guys? You don't have to stay wrong forever. Just apologize and change your opinion.
Okay, I have an idea. Let's do that. I will try to explain
Sure.
Obyte community, what the HEX actually does, and then you can
sure,
tell me if I got anything wrong.
Okay.
So for me, it was actually really easy to understand HEX because I already understood what it was trying to solve, and that's certificate of deposit. So. Right. So the thing with when you deposit money into the bank, it's actually not your money in the bank. It's linked to your name, but it's actually you're giving a loan to the bank, and most people don't get that. They think that it's their money in the bank, but what you have actually done is that you gave a loan to the bank. This doesn't mean that
not really, but so when you give your money to the bank, you lose custody of it. It's not your money anymore. The bank puts your money that you gave them into their liabilities column, so you're now a liability to them because they owe you money. It's not really a loan. There's no loan agreement. There's a terms of service agreement when you sign up at the bank, and there's the federal law and state law that controls banking transactions, and so the bank then could blow your money on hookers and coke and not give you any of your money back. And this does happen, and banks do fail, and they don't give their people their money back, which is why we have stress tests, because you want to know that the system could withstand a certain amount of failure. And it's why we have FDIC insurance, which is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which if you have up to, I believe, $300,000, then it will pay you back if the bank fucks you out of your $300K. But over $300K, you're fucked. You don't get paid back. You just lose that money.
Yes, so that's the insurance from the government.
Exactly. And there's a limit to it. And, a lot of people are over that limit. So it is not without risk to put your money in a bank. And bank runs do occur. And banks do go out of business. and people do lose money in banks. So you lose money in safety deposit box when they just lose your deposit box. They're just like, yeah, we were doing some moving shit around, or we just lost your stuff. Sorry, it happens. Or,
But how I understand is that when you put money into the bank, they don't lend that money out. They actually.
Yeah, that's true what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you can continue it if you want.
So technically, it's not like the loan that you gave them. It's not a money that they can actually use, because they will get the money from central bank when they give somebody else a loan.
Yeah, what they do is they use your money as an excuse to get other money from the Fed, which then ends up getting lent out.
And that's what we call fractional reserve
yes.
lending or banking.
Yep.
It's basically they just have to have a certain money on their account in order to give 10x or 90% to somebody else.
Yeah, you're describing fractional reserve. So the reason that this is important is because people say, oh, well, you say your CD involves borrowing. Like, not really. Your money doesn't get lent out.
Yeah.
Your money just fucking sits there. And, so it's just like Bitcoin mining. You're minting inflation. You're getting paid inflation. So technically in HEX, the rewards, they're not actually interest. They're just inflation.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting paid for being time locked. But it's easiest to describe it as interest because people are using to locking their funds in a CD and getting paid more interest the longer they lock. And in our system, you get more shares the longer you locked. So there are differences, but I don't think you could find a better way analogously to describe what they do.
But here comes the important part. When you put money into the bank, you don't tell the bank when you're gonna take it out. You can take it out anytime,
unless you have a time deposit.
Yeah. So that's where the certificate of deposit comes in, because you will tell them, or you make a contract when you're gonna take it out. And if you take it out earlier, then you're gonna get the penalty, and that's exactly what HEX is doing.
Pretty much, yeah. But, I mean, we did our best to kind of emulate what CDs do in the real world.
Does CDs also give you a late penalty?
No, but they roll you over into another product at a shittier rate. So they auto roll over you into a product that's worse, usually. It's the dark pattern that they use. I can't say usually because I'm not sure the rate at which they do it, but I know that a dark pattern that exists in CDs above and beyond early withdrawal penalties is to roll you over and auto renew you into something. So banks know how to fuck you over for money, and that's one of the ways they do it.
Okay. So, like, somebody might ask, like, why is it important that the bank wants to know how long you're gonna keep it? And that actually has a really simple reason, because then they know how long they can give the loans out, because they can estimate how much money they need to have in the bank.
Yeah, it seems reasonable to me. That seems like you would want to kind of, if you have a reserve amount that you have to maintain, and you have your input dollars on a different schedule than your output dollars, then yes, it's very useful to know that your inputs will be there when you need them to be, so that you don't go under your reserve. So seems like a reasonable explanation.
And then there's like, how do they pay interest to those certificate of deposit? And that's from the interest comes from loans. But what HEX is trying to do is just doing the certificate of deposit part of the bank, not the loan part of the bank. So basically what it's doing is it's simulating the interest from the loans, and that's the inflation.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that, like, there's nothing that says that CDs have to involve fucking loans at all. There's nothing to say that they have to be interest bearing at all. You made a deposit. Here's your certificate of your deposit. Fuck off. So it's like, I don't understand why people decide that words need to not mean what they actually mean. So a certificate of deposit means that you have a fucking certificate that you have deposited. It doesn't also mean that you're going to get interest. It doesn't also mean that you're going to get a free car. It doesn't also mean any of that shit, and has a different name in different countries.
Yeah,
so if you tell someone,
and the reason why it was called certificate of deposit was because you actually got a paper certificate about your deposit.
Right.
Nowadays you don't get it anymore. You see it online, but it used to be you got the paper that proved it.
Right. So in other countries it would be called a GIC in Canada, which I guess means something investment certificate, guaranteed investment certificate, I think it means. And then in Asia, it might be called time deposit. Then in UK, I think it's called bond. So every country, for some reason, has a different name for this process of like locking up your money to get more in return. So it's like if you turn on your computer and you start using a word processor, do you care what code, what language the word processor is written in internally? No. So for instance, if you use the GNU operating system and you use Emacs, well then I think that Emacs uses, I know Emacs uses a Lisp of some sort. And then if you use like Vim, it's something else. But for you, the user, you don't give a shit about that. You know, when you go and get a steak dinner, do you care what kind of butter the guy uses? Like what brand the butter is? No. So it's the same thing with CD. It's like you lock up your funds, you get more of what you locked in return later. That's you, the customer's perspective. What happens behind the scenes? It's like, come on, does that really fucking matter to you? It's like, it's just, I don't think people are checking the brand of the pepper they're using inside the restaurant.
Yeah. And another topic I wanted to touch was this: who is Satoshi? Because I remember you said that you think he's dead.
Yeah. Sure.
Which basically means you think it was Hal Finney.
No, I don't think that. Okay. I think it's a person with academic background somewhere in the UK, based on timestamp analysis of what hours he was awake, posting on Bitcoin Talk, and there was low latency in those conversations, so it wasn't delayed. His using SE instead of ZE. You can guess his age by the double spaces after the periods, which is something that comes from the typewriter error. And the way that he wrote his code was academic-ish. So what you end up with is a single guy in academia, probably in the UK, probably with a day job. That's what you end up with.
I saw some timestamps too, but for me it seemed like he was from East US coast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care who he is that much. I just hope that he didn't give his shitty kids, if he has shitty kids, the keys, because I don't feel like watching them dump the price pretty much.
What do you think about this theory that he's in jail?
Well, I mean, that's going to be the Sol, what's that guy's name? Soltoro or Sultano? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that theory. I think that's not really plausible, because that guy ran a bunch of websites and they didn't accept Bitcoin. But the theory is that he invented Bitcoin to kind of help that business. Doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, it's weird because, he did write crypto and he was in the privacy space and all that. But, I mean, if you look at their behaviors, Satoshi was more of a laid back kind of libertarian, not shove his gun down your throat kind of guy. And the
more
guy that's in jail,
academic.
Exactly. And the guy that's in jail was responsible for gunplay. So it's like, okay, they're just totally different behavioral profiles.
But why wouldn't he be Nick Szabo?
Because Nick already tried and failed, and is working for payroll over at Blockstream trying to get some coins into his bag. There's just no, like, I don't see any similarity between Nick and Satoshi at all. I mean, Nick Szabo coined the term smart contracts, and Bitcoin had nothing to do with smart contracts whatsoever. So don't you think there would be some Turing complete smart contract shit in there? Like, there's just not. I don't see.
Maybe he means smart contract as those opcodes that the Bitcoin has.
Most of those opcodes got destroyed.
Yeah.
So like the
he included them in the beginning. So.
Yeah, but none of them were smart contracts. I mean,
the thing is, like, if you take Obyte, then we also call our we have smart contracts, but the thing is that these are really simple. Like, these are basically like opcodes, and but now we are adding autonomous agents, which are actually the smart contracts that Ethereum has. So, because like you can do smart contracts between two people with those opcodes, but you can't do something what the Ethereum does with the opcodes. So
I hear you.
Like semantics issue there.
I mean, look, if there's code, you can run the code or not. If it stays in the same chain, you get to, maintain trustlessness. That shit's all nice. But the original question was, like, do I think that Nick Szabo is Satoshi? No. There's no evidence at all to say that he is. And he works a day job. So it's like, do you think Satoshi would work? Do you think Satoshi would get a fucking day job working for Blockstream? Do you think?
Yeah, because that would be like a nice cover.
No, it wouldn't. That would be the opposite of a nice cover. It's not a good cover at all. That why would you fucking come out and work anywhere when you could just keep doing what you were used to doing and develop behind the scenes? Like, there's no.
Yeah, but if you're a guy who doesn't need to work anymore, then it starts to become suspicious. Like, where do you get the money from?
I'm pretty sure that anyone could say that they were an early Bitcoin investor and get away with it, particularly if they just happen to be an early Bitcoin investor.
Okay, but going back to Hal Finley, why he would not be a Satoshi?
If you want that argument to have validity, go look up the code that he wrote for B-Money or whatever his other attempt at Bitcoin was, and see if you see commonalities in writing structure. I don't think that you'll find them. If you read Hal Finney's writing, it doesn't read like Satoshi's writing. I don't see any similarity in behavior or writing or.
Because I have this theory that maybe Szabo hired Finney to write it. So it's like a two-people project.
I don't even know that. I don't know if Szabo is an entrepreneur even. Like, I don't know that he has a history of hiring people to do anything.
Well, he's academic, so.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, you're stretching. Like, there's just you're saying there's absolutely no evidence to support this, but Richard, go ahead and come up with counter evidence. And that's not how the burden of proof works. Like, why I Satoshi? Like, go prove I'm not Satoshi. Go ahead.
My concern with this is that Bitcoin has the problem that he could dump it.
Sure. Yep. But I mean, what do you want? Like, he invented it, so we could fork his coins out if you want. I'm okay with it. Go ahead, fork his coins out. It's like there's not a benefit to the world that there's 5% of the currency in the hands of somebody that you don't know who's got the keys, and you don't know what their intentions are, and you can't tell what they're doing with the money. I guess it's just sitting there. I guess it's like, I don't know. There's a difference. Like HEX right now has a total market cap of $350,000 fucking dollars, because market caps are based on circulating, and the circulating is very small. It's like 10% circulating because people believe in it. They lock it up. They want to, get more later. They're delaying gratification, right? So that's working perfectly. The result of that, however, is a low market cap, which is good because you'll get higher ROI without, if you get ROI at all, you'll get higher ROI without moving the market cap higher than it needs to be to do it. Because the market cap keeps dumbing down, the more people lock up supply and remove it from circulation. It's kind of unique in that way. And that the more successful it is, the more it does a good job at getting everyone to lock up their funds, the lower the market cap is, because market cap is based on circulating. It's interesting in that way. And in Bitcoin, when adoption goes up and more people hold their coins, circulating doesn't move. It stays the same number. And so the price goes up and the market cap goes up together. But in HEX, the price can go up and the market cap can go down. It's interesting.
Do you think that this is going to make HEX more stable or less stable?
I have no idea. I know that having a chart of future market supply should allow people to time their sells when other people might not be selling. So it might result in less volatility. But
yeah, that's exactly what the banks are doing with their deposits. They can estimate.
So, yeah, it's in theory, it would be nice if it reduced volatility. But in the end, this has to filter through a human, and humans are crazy. They could do anything. So, is a design intention? Yes, that mechanics should lead to less volatility, but since we're filtering it through humans, anything's possible. Who knows? It's crypto. My guess is that, like most other cryptocurrencies, it'll drop 85 or 95% at some point. And then the question just is, how high does it go before then? And does it come back after it? That's what the question is in most cryptocurrencies. You always have to have that caveat there that any crypto can go to zero. It's possible.
So how long would you stick with this project when it pumps and then dumps?
Are you asking for like my time estimate and when it might pump and when it might dump? I have no idea.
No. I'm asking more like if because HEX hasn't had a pump yet, but if it will bump, how do you know when it's over with this coin? How do you know when to move on?
I have no idea. Personally, I like the project very much. I don't see any reason to be focusing my mind power or thought on other things. I think HEX is awesome. So I like the question that you asked is a dangerous question for me personally, because I make sure that no one has any expectations of me whatsoever.
Yeah,
for legal reasons. And so your question sounds like can I have expectations of you kind of question.
Yeah, well, I don't totally understand that nobody.
So my answer is I love HEX and I think it's amazing, and I think I'll be thinking about it for a long time. And you should have no expectations whatsoever of profit from the work of anyone else whatsoever. So
yes, I totally understand that. But my point was like, how long do you plan to be this promotional phase for it?
I have no idea. I just don't know. I'm not even sure we are in a promotional phase. I'd like to see referrers still making advertisements and such, and I guess there's still tons and tons of drama. So if drama and referrers advertising is a promotional phase, then cool.
So you rather would like the community to take it all on their side?
It's always been that way.
Okay.
Because no expectations. It's always been that way. So no one can have expectations of me, because if you have expectations of me or anyone else, it might be a security. And if it's a security, it doesn't get listed on exchanges, because crypto exchanges aren't licensed to be securities brokers, not in their current form today. So it's hard to explain to people that question is like a bad question to be asking. because it introduces this like expectation frame,
Well, why I'm asking it is more connected to the Satoshi, because he decided to leave at some point.
I don't think that was good for the project. I think the project would have been better off had he stayed in there and not been a coward, not been a pussy, and, fought the good fight. I fought the good fight to defend Bitcoin, and he could stand right there on stage next to me and fight the good fight to defend Bitcoin with me. But he's a coward, or he's dead. That's it.
You think Bitcoin would have been stronger today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, look, is Vitalik founded a cryptocurrency? Yes, the second most valuable one. Does he go on stage and talk all the time about it? Yes, he does. Is he a little bitch hiding? Nope. He's in public, on stage, talking about and improving the thing that he invented all the time. So we live in a world where if Satoshi's alive, Vitalik is a much, much more manly man than he. I don't know if you've seen Vitalik, but he ain't exactly jacked. He's not exactly the strongest dude. So, I call it like I see it.
And he doesn't even have to write code anymore, because he mostly does reviewing the code and designing the architecture for the ETH2.
He's a very busy guy. He does a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So, people do this hero worship bullshit where they just assign greatness to an entity, and then they never update their opinion. And it's like, yeah, Satoshi invented this shit, but he made some bad design decisions. So the 1 megabyte block limit was stupid. He should have had it scale with time, just like he had the halvening decrease the block reward over time. He should have had the block size increase algorithmically over time. It would have been more intelligent. I also think that the block size increasing every 4 years, or the 4%, the 4-year wait for the halvening of the interest rate is also stupid, and it should just have constantly. There's no benefit to having this fucking 4-year ratchet. It's stupid. Markets don't like that supply shock bullshit.
Maybe it's like more noticeable if it happens more rarely.
We don't need it to be more noticeable. The math is there. If you wait for a year, nobody's getting fooled. We know what's going to happen. It's not. I don't think there's an advantage to doing that. If there's an advantage to doing that, why don't you just wait 100 years and then have it really ratchet really hard? Because it's stupid. It's not. I don't think 4 years was the right decision. So he's made technical bad decisions. He's made economics bad decisions. This is what happens when you're the first person to do a thing, is that not everything's perfect. So some of these things can be fixed. HEX fixes a lot of this shit.
Yeah,
not all of it, but a lot
Bitcoin
of it.
is definitely not perfect.
No.
Okay.
For instance, he wouldn't have been able to know that the most successful cryptocurrency isn't a cryptocurrency. It's Tether. So the most successful crypto is the opposite of crypto. The most successful crypto is one that's just a giant counterparty. He wouldn't have been able to predict that shit. And I wouldn't have been able to predict it either. And now that you know that that's the case, since this is what people really want, or some of the most, it's the most commonly used coin, if that's what the people really want, then having an on-chain stablecoin like DAI for Ethereum is superior to Bitcoin, which makes you leave the network to get into a stablecoin. So,
and this basically also says that people have to recalculate their opinion about it, because the reality changed.
Yeah, exactly. Now we know that you have to be able to, since you know now that stablecoins are important as fuck to people, then you need to have an on-chain stablecoin if you want to provide maximum value to users. Bitcoin can't, but Ethereum does. So it's you need to update your opinion now. If you care about anonymity, Bitcoin doesn't do it. Well, Ethereum does do it through CK snarks, through a thing called tornado.cash. So Ethereum has anonymity. Bitcoin does not. Ethereum has on-chain stablecoin. Bitcoin does not. Ethereum has on-chain exchanges. Bitcoin does not. Ethereum has no inflation bugs. Bitcoin has inflation bugs. Ethereum has a bug bounty program. Bitcoin does not. Ethereum lets you transact within seconds. You get your first confirmation in 10 seconds. Bitcoin, fuck yourself, wait 10 minutes. It's just better. Ethereum's just fucking better. It works better. But these idiots, they don't understand. They just don't get it. Their brains don't work right.
So you also have said that you don't believe that there's going to be anonymity functions in Bitcoin.
It's unlikely. It's unlikely to get forked in.
But what do you think? What would be a feature that will get?
You might get Schnorr signatures, which make transactions more efficient, which might make ring signatures cheaper, which might make mixing more effective, which might help anonymity a little bit. But it won't be, mixing and using ring signatures and taking advantage of Schnorr requires you to do optional things. So, something that would be mandatory privacy, which would create the largest anonymity set, it's unlikely to get forked in.
But how would be Schnorr signatures easier to get forked in than there was SegWit? Like,
I don't think it would be easier. I think it'd be
equally
as hard, probably.
Okay. But what made this SegWit thing so big deal? Like, why?
It should, like, in theory, there was a mining company that used that had the ability to do covert ASIC boost, which like allows you to be, and SegWit stopped covert ASIC boost. It still allowed visible ASIC boost. So there was arguments that it could have been those things. I don't understand why a 25% throughput increase with a transaction malleability fix was such a big goddamn deal, but it was. So it's like this is, you have your model of the world and you have your guesses of what will happen, and then reality shows up and gets to tell you whether your model is right or not. It's like when HEX launched, I had no idea how many people would claim. I had no idea how many people would transform Ethereum into HEX, and I still have absolutely no idea. I'm still discovering with everybody else, because you got your models and then you got the real world, and they almost never match, right? Like, it's depending on how wide the range of the degrees of freedom are. So in a system that has a wide set of degrees of freedom, it's very hard to predict which one of those sets will win out over others. And, in crypto, man, people could claim late. They could be referred a lot. They could not be referred. They could claim late instead of early. They could, so many variables. It's just not deterministic. The best you can do is guess ranges. Like, right, some days we get 3,000 Bitcoin to claim. Some days we get like 1,000. Why? Why are some days 3 times larger than others? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea.
Going back to the miners topic. So basically, I'm trying to, like, when I find some subject, I want to go like deep into it and try to figure out how it works. So I try to do this same thing with miners, but like, it's so difficult to understand exactly how mining works. And
that's really easy. I could tell you that one in 2 minutes.
Well, my questions got more complicated when I hit the wall. But basically, I even asked like the miners itself who were mining back in 2011, and there is some stuff that they're not able to explain you, and even if they explain you something, it's not valid anymore, because there's so many, well, not many, but there's things that have changed with the mining back in 2011 and now. Right. So the thing where I ran to the wall was that, how is mining trustless? Because
there's no trustless in crypto. People dream that shit. There's no trustless. There's no trustless. So you trust the motherfucker that compiled the exe that you ran, or you compiled it yourself, and then you trust your compiler, and you trust your computer isn't backdoored, and you trust that there's no underhanded C code in there. And then if you don't even know what underhanded C is, you don't know shit about auditing software, and then whatever you just compiled probably has a fucking bug or could steal all your keys. And you trust that when you connect to the network, the nodes that you're talking to are the real network and not a fake version of the network. and I could just go down the list of all the shit that you trust, and like you are not going to get around trust in crypto. You just have reduced trust requirements. So it's,
and another thing I found out was that like it was somewhat trustless when, back in 2011 when you were able to run it on your machine. But now with the mining pools, you're basically making the mining pool first. Like mining pool will get the rewards, and they will distribute to the pool participants.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's no longer peer-to-peer currency. It's a miner-to-user currency because we're not peers. The vast majority of users are not miners. The miners are the only people who get the new coins. It's a miner-to-user currency, not a peer-to-peer currency. It doesn't mean it's that bad, but it's the reality. So, I mean, like most of this shit's security theater. Let's be serious. Has anyone lost money transacting XRP? No. Okay. Has anyone lost money transacting XLM? No. Has anyone lost money transacting in Dogecoin? No. Bitcoin? No. ECH? They had like one exchange that might have got fucked on one like chain rollback thing, maybe, but I don't think they can do that anymore because they introduced checkpoints. All this shit works pretty good. No one's losing any fucking money. It's just a bunch of Ford versus Chevy bullshit that people want to argue about fantasy things that might happen. And, you know, it's like, what's better?
Do you know this video of some security guard who's checking the people in the queue, and he doesn't even touch the
Yeah, it's a funny video. I like it. He just kind of waves his hands near you to search you.
But that's basically mining.
Your aura. Well, I mean, look, back in the day, mining was important when anyone in the world could attack your network. But now, not anyone in the world can attack your network. So now it's a protection racket. The only people that can attack you are the people that you're paying. You're paying them not to attack you. It's a protection racket. It used to be they protected you from other people, back on GPU and CPU. But now that's just SHA-256 only. It's a protection racket. And they could work for a lot less money.
But what's the argument for against ASIC-resistance?
So what's the argument against ASIC-resistance? People say, I'm not even sure what a good argument against ASIC-resistance is because I think ASIC-resistance is awesome.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't like. Usually, I can present the other person's argument really well, but in this case, I don't fucking know what the argument is against ASIC resistance. I mean, if I had to try and structure one, you would say that it makes it cheaper to attack the network because it's cheaper to do anything else than to build ASICs because ASICs cost millions of dollars. But that's the reason it sucks is because it's centralizing because it costs millions of dollars. So like, I don't understand that fucking argument. Like, yeah. Once again, security theater. What is the GPU mined cryptocurrency that's getting 51% attacked? I think Bitcoin Gold got 51% attacked like 2 years ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, maybe.
Yeah.
So, you know, from that perspective, like, you know, GPU actually is an ASIC, by the way. It's just more generalized than other ASICs. So it's like, yeah, I like ASIC
and
resistance.
I think there's that the main way how they make it ASIC resistance is that it will require a lot of memory.
Yeah, that's the most common thing is to make it memory hard. So using cuckoo algorithms is what's common. But there's other proof of works out there. Like there's proof of optical processing that uses photo optics. There's proof of space-time, there's proof of storage, there's proof of other bullshit as well. But like the problem with all proofs of work is that they're all wasteful as fuck. I guess proof of storage isn't. I
also heard this thing that proof of work makes sense only on the first coin, because if you're not the first one with the most hash power, you will get attacked.
Sure, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
So it's totally fine if there's one top currency with proof of work, but it doesn't work for the others.
Yeah, because just the big guy can come fuck up the little guys anytime he wants. So yeah, that's a good point. I think that's useful to know. And then so like this is the reason that HEX is an ERC20 and not a fork of Bitcoin code, because it could have forked Bitcoin code, and implemented the game theory that way, and it would have been inferior to being an ERC20 contract because we would have had less interoperability, and we would have been easier to attack. So I chose the more interoperable, more battle tested, powered or currently powers 5 out of the top 11 cryptocurrency value coins. It's a better decision. But stupid people yell at me, like, you're not even a real chain. You're like, yeah, because I chose the better path. I chose to do the thing that works better. And look, it's working. It's working fabulously. Look, the design decision that I chose is working fabulously. But they're just too dumb. This blows my fucking mind. They hear that Bitcoin's the best network, and then you're like, why? Show me. And then you're like, it's had more failures in the networks. I just don't get it. They don't understand history. Like, do you want me to read the critical vulnerabilities to you? Like, here's the list. Let's go.
Have you looked into it? What Ethereum 2.0 is going to be? Is it the staking going to be something like HEX is?
No, nothing in common. So the staking in Ethereum requires you to run a server farm and to have connectivity and to never go down and to never miscompute. And if like a cosmic ray causes your CPU to decide it properly, you'll lose money. So if you ever lose connection or you ever have any error of any sort, you'll lose money instead of make it. So it's a risky, low margin, low profit endeavor. Whereas HEX has no requirement that you're connected to the internet, no requirement that you own a computer, has none of those problems, and it has a higher return percentage-wise.
Is this connection loss problem similar to Lightning, or it's something different?
Different. So they slash you if you're not doing your job validating, and then so that means you give a wrong result or don't give a result when you should have. Then they steal some of your money. They don't steal it. It's called slashing. Like the money that you posted up to stake to be able to do that behavior to try and earn rewards, that gets some of your profit removed and then some of your actual like principal removed as well, depending on the degree of your fuck up. So I've got it. If you go in t.me/hex crypto and type !Casper, it'll link you to Vitalik's video on YouTube called "So You Want to Be a Casper Validator." And he will tell you exactly how risky and how hard it is. So there's absolutely no mincing words out of his mouth. He tells you very specifically what the risks are.
Okay. I think HEX will benefit even more on Ethereum 2.0, but
sure. I agree.
What if it never comes?
If it comes and it fucks up, we get 2 coins on 2 chains. If it comes and it fucks up and there's only one chain that sucks, well, I'd be very surprised. I don't think that could happen. I think you'd end up with 2 coins if it sucked. And then if it comes and it works great, then we get lower transaction fees and more scale and more features. So there's not really, I don't see any downside. I just see upside. I think it's cool.
So you also mentioned that if it doesn't work out on Ethereum, you would migrate to some other blockchain that has.
Well, I can't give you an expectations of work.
Okay.
And it's a social consensus thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So like if the community decides that Ethereum isn't working the way that they want it to, then the system state can be airdropped onto another blockchain. So it's like, it's really a community thing because you have to have social consensus that some other coin is now going to be the ticker, and the old coin is not going to exist anymore. And probably some people always want the old coin to exist anyway, and then you're going to end up with a fork. And so, ideally that type of situation would never have to occur.
So basically, you made the first Solidity code, but it's up to the community if they want to fork it to somewhere else.
Well, the thing is that they can't even legally fork it because it's not licensed for open source shit. It's openly viewable. It's openly auditable. It's not openly copyable.
So how would this work? That
they would have to write their own code that performed the same functions as the HEX code, and then airdrop the system state of the HEX system to that new code, unless someone allowed them to do something different.
Okay, so maybe you already understand where I'm going with this, but what
it's more expectation questions as far as I see.
Okay, so
you're
my
asking
question,
you're asking what will someone do in the future, and the answer is
no. My question would be, what if the community copies the system state on something more scalable like Obyte?
Look, if someone writes their own code and there's no like crossover of code, then there's no, I don't think looking at the publicly available, set of balances of a bunch of public addresses is like copyrightable or whatever. So I think you can airdrop any number of users from any number of cryptocurrencies to a new functional system and be okay with that, as long as you didn't, steal anyone's code to do it. I think that's fine. The problem with Obyte is you guys keep trying to solve a marketing problem with technical innovation. And you should have noticed by now that the more that you improve your technology and the more that you pay developers to improve it in your native token, the more they sell those tokens and the lower the price goes. And so every technical innovation that you've made, that you've paid to make, has made the price worse, because the amount of money that was paid to the people to make it better, they sold it on the market and just pushed price down even more. So in your system, the better you make your software, the worse the price will be. The only thing that will solve the problem that you guys have, in my opinion, is totally rebranding from scratch and giving it another go and hoping it works, because technical innovation you already have. You're already innovative. You already do a lot of shit that other coins don't do. A ton of stuff. You've got anonymity. You've got DAG blockchain scalability stuff. You've got on-chain contracts. You've got declarative smart contracts. You've got oracles. You've got all this fancy bullshit. You've got, fair distributed airdrop shit. Market didn't give a fuck. Market didn't care.
How would you see this total rebranding?
I don't think it'll work, truthfully. It's like, go rebrand Mastercoin, or go rebrand Omni Protocol, or go rebrand Counterparty. They were functional coins that did what they were advertised to do and allowed you to build on Bitcoin, and they entirely failed on the market. And so if someone said to them, like, yeah, just rebrand, it'll work out, your answer would be like, no, actually it won't work out still, because the market doesn't give a fuck about what you're doing. And so it's almost impossible to believe that a platform that does smart contracts and scalability and oracles and privacy has no interest whatsoever from anyone, but it's in fact the case. And it's hard, like very hard to understand. So I said fuck Obyte the second that he stopped the fucking dividends. So I'm like, okay, project said you're going to get dividends for holding. And then you hold, and then the dividends stop. And they're like, oh, so centralization's here now. That's the reason no one likes one guy handing out the coins. All right, fuck off. That's why I got out. I'm like, okay. So there's one guy, Tony, that's going to hand out all the coins, decided to change his mind and not do what he said he was going to do and keep handing out the coins. So he just changed his fucking mind. Okay, well, then I'm out. I'm not in a monogamous relationship. He changed the fucking rules of the game after he set him up. And then, thank God, I'm glad he did that, because, I got out way fucking higher than here. Way fucking higher. Like, way higher.
Have you keep track of what has happened after that?
Well, I mean, after that, they changed the name from Byteball to Obyte, and then they started to try and do bounties and try to pay people to. They're basically like using coins to try and get people to onboard, but all they're doing is creating more sell pressure because the people that get those coins just fucking sell them. So, like,
But you can't cancel the distribution either, and burning the rest of the distribution fund would be equally horrible.
yeah, I just if you jump off a building and you ask someone, you're like, "Hey, I just jumped off a building. What should I do to like get back on the roof?" They're going to tell you like you're fucked. There's nothing you can do to fix it. So like I'm telling you guys, the only thing that could maybe have a chance of fixing it is like a total rebrand where people just forget how bad the price chart used to be, and like maybe airdrop to some other new fucking thing that maybe have a price chart that looks better or something. But like, it's obvious that technical innovation is not going to fix your problem, or it wouldn't have existed in the first place. And you would have had, you've continued to make technical innovation, and the price chart has continued to get worse. And so you have to understand that that just doesn't work. It's like trying to push with a string. You can pull with a string, but you can't push with a string. And you guys are trying to like push the price with a string of technical innovation, and it just doesn't work. So
what about having or like finding out some killer app on it?
yeah, that's roughly impossible. There's been no adoption of any app in crypto whatsoever that was non-speculative. Like, name one successful crypto app that's non-speculative.
Well, it doesn't have to be not speculative.
Well, then you're going to have, then what are you going to launch? Proof of weekends on Obyte? It's like, I mean, like, because that's what you're looking at. I mean, like, what speculative thing you're going to launch on your token that is going to pump?
I'm thinking more like a game like CryptoKitties.
That's a fucking long shot. Hey, look, anything's possible, but like, why don't you just go build the next WhatsApp? I mean, they did that with 80 guys. So, you know, you've got 10 guys. Go fucking build the next 1/8 of WhatsApp. It's probably easier. This is like, these questions of like, you know, hey, what? So once again, like, think about this. If you believe that things become inefficient as you get further abstracted from the core thing, you've had market failure. How about this? Why don't you forget all your bag holders that are holding their bags and go develop something new that doesn't have a shitload of bag holders selling into your ass if you actually are successful? So you as a developer could go put your development effort, like for instance, these guys that built a proof of weekends on top of HEX called Pyra HEX, that probably didn't take them too long to copy paste the fucking code. And they'll probably get users, and they don't have anyone selling into their ass from higher.
Can you explain what's proof of weekends?
Yeah, it's like a Ponzi scheme, I think. So you basically, like, if you put coins in, you lose 10% of your coins. And then if you take coins out, you lose 10% of your coins. But while your coins are in there, you get some like fake masternode bullshit where if more people join after you, you get profit. And so I think it's a legit Ponzi scheme where if you get in early, you hope a bunch of people get in after you. And then if you choose the right time to get out, you're profitable. But the people that didn't choose the right time to get out, they lose all their fucking money. I think that's how it works. I haven't read the code yet. It just became available maybe 6 or 7 hours ago, and I just woke up a few hours ago, so I haven't had a chance to take a look at it. And I'm not even sure how good it is for HEX that some Ponzi has decided to build its Ponziness on top of it. But like, I don't know. Like, I'm undecided. Like, I don't know if it's, in general, I don't like Ponzi's. And I'm not sure that an honest Ponzi is that much better than a dishonest Ponzi. I'm undecided on it. I don't know whether it's good or not that people are building Ponzi's on top of HEX, because they're already built on other currencies. So it's like, is it better that you can't even decide? Like, I don't even have a choice as to whether people do it or not. I just have a choice as to whether people are allowed to talk about it in the chat room or not. So it's like, it's a hard question.
The reason why I'm thinking that maybe like some killer app would save Obyte is that like everybody's looking at killer app. So on Ethereum, the killer app is ERC20 tokens. And
Not really. See, you think that, but
what's more like successful than the ERC20 token on Ethereum?
Nothing, but that doesn't make them killer apps for moving the Ethereum price. Like you only care about killer app for price movement. And has ERC20s done anything for making the Ethereum price go higher? It used to, but it's not now.
Well, the reason I think more usage of the ERC tokens will eventually
it might
Ethereum also is because they are consuming Ethereum. Like right now, you can't pay the miners in ERC20 tokens.
Yeah, but it's not actually consumed. They're just moving hands. They're not being destroyed.
Yeah, but
so it's like,
but the user doesn't have them anymore. Somebody else will have. And
yeah, but
someone else has to.
It just makes miners more profitable. That doesn't mean that the Ethereum ecosystem becomes more profitable. So my perspective is HEX has gotten, let's call it 15,000 people to install Ethereum wallets that might not have had them otherwise. You know, I'm sure some large portion did have them already because I did a survey on Twitter, and apparently a lot of my followers did already have Ethereum wallets. That might not mean that they had MetaMask specifically.
And the same thing was with CryptoKitties. Most of the people who got into CryptoKitties didn't have MetaMask. They didn't have even Ethereum. How CryptoKitties got big was that they used this built-in credit card functionality to buy Ethereum.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool. I'll look into that. So my position is, if you want to build a killer app, go and build it and use Visa, MasterCard, and MySQL, and go get rich and have millions and millions of users. Go do that. Don't ass fuck yourself by tying yourself to crypto.
You know have these so many AML things to follow.
They don't. What are you talking about? Clash of Clans is AML KYCing your shit. They make $1 billion a fucking year. More.
Yeah, I haven't played it, so I don't know what they ask.
Yeah, games and apps and software is very, very profitable. So I think you can do the shit you're talking about, but just don't poison your thing by tying it to Obyte just to do it. They'd be like, hey, why don't you go make a successful comedy special on HBO to promote Obyte? Because the comedy special on HBO is worth more than your fucking market cap. You've got the cart in front of the horse. Why don't you go and do amazing technical things, but without the cancer that you're stuck with? Like, why are you trying to pump all these losers' bags that are just sitting there waiting to sell into you, not developing shit? Like, what is it your job to slave to empower these 100,000 assholes just sitting around staring at you? Fuck that.
Well, it's kind of like who is gonna pay your development cost? Because on Ethereum and Obyte, you could write the grant and get this project funded.
Bro, please. Fucking put up a fucking Kickstarter, mate. You'll make more money. You put up a Kickstarter, you're going to make way more money than all the Obyte guys put together. Let's go look at the charts real quick. Let's see how much money the Obyte guys have. Coin market cap. Currencies. Obyte.
You mean market cap?
Yeah, your market cap is $12 million. You ain't gonna get 10% of your homies to fund you. And if you actually had to sell what they gave you, if you got 10% of Obyte users to give you $1.2 million, which is 10% of your market cap, and you tried to sell that shit into the market, your market cap would go to $4 million, and you'd actually end up with like 400,000. So if you tried to sell 10% of Obyte, you'd probably take a fucking 75% hit to the price. My guess. So if you actually tried to sell what they gave you to get money to actually build something, you'd end up with maybe $400,000. You could get more than $400,000 on Kickstarter. I mean, somebody put up a fucking tripod. They wanted to build a tripod, so they put up a Kickstarter for a tripod. I think it got like $50 or $60 million for a camera tripod.
Well, you're at the moment assuming that the market cap stays the same when there's a killer app launched on it.
I'm just talking about you trying to get money to try and build it. So this tripod, this travel tripod by Peak Design, This shit got $12.1 million for a tripod. That's how much their Kickstarter got. That's more. That's your market cap. That's more than your market cap because it's liquid. It's $12 million. If you took your whole market cap, which is $12 million, and tried to actually sell it for fiat, you'd get like 2 or 3 million max. Which means if 100% of your backers sold all of their fucking Obyte to fund you, you get 2 or 3 million bucks. Which in the grand scheme of things ain't shit. HEX has already gotten 7 million in 20 days. Real like liquid shit, not like, oh, you know, this is hard to fucking sell with liquidity kind of stuff. So it's like, I don't know, man. You're asking the right questions, but you're just shoehorning something that doesn't fit. Your Obyte does not fit into a killer app. Obyte does not fit into a game. Obyte does not fit into anything. So if you want to go build amazing things that get lots of users and adoption and shit, yes, you should do that.
Well,
go ahead.
It doesn't fit in a sense that it doesn't have the community that Ethereum has. But
you're not getting what I'm telling you. Clash of Clans has 100 million users a day.
Yeah.
Do you think Clash of Clans would have been better if it had launched on Ethereum? No, it would have failed. So yes, games are valuable to people. I hate Clash of Clans. I wish their company got a business. I hate casual games that turn people into fucking human ATMs by having them do repetitive bullshit instead of building real narratives. Disgust me. So can you build something that people will see value in? Yes. Can you do hundreds of millions of users a day? Yes. Can your cryptocurrency of choice help do that? No, it is cancer and a blight, and it just makes everything worse. When you actually want to add value to the world, cryptocurrencies only add value for censorship resistance, and that is all. And no one gives a shit about censoring your game, period. No one gives a shit about censoring your shipping manifest and your inventory management. No one gives a shit about censoring your electric bills. So people shoehorn cryptocurrencies as get-rich-quick schemes into every fucking business they can think of because they want to get rich. In reality, the only thing cryptocurrencies are good for is censorship resistance. The only thing blockchains are good for is censorship resistance. And if you're trying to make an impact in the world that doesn't require censorship resistance, a blockchain is cancer to you.
Well, this is one thing that I disagree with you. And this is the censorship resistance thing. Because for me, what's the biggest priority for me in cryptocurrencies is that the ability to have the control in your hand. So like, and the censorship thing doesn't even work on Ethereum and Bitcoin, because you can censor there, or you can basically unprioritize somebody. But
you can just mine your own block. It's just more expensive.
Yeah, but you can't do that on Bitcoin anymore.
You can. It's just really expensive.
Well, if you want to mine your own block, it's going to take you like 1 year.
Nah, it's just going to cost you, $500,000 or something probably.
Yeah.
Because they make 500,000 per block. So like, maybe my math's not specific there, but
you can't do it with your own computer. You have to build this huge server farm.
Yeah, but you could just pay someone else that already did that. So you can pay Bitmain directly to prioritize your transaction. They have that service.
You could also pay Bitmain to deprioritize your transaction.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because someone else will mine it. So that's the strong part of Bitcoin, is that anyone can join the network, and you can't stop someone from joining the network. That's part of its.
Yeah, but you can pay them in fiat or like not just one. Okay, the difficult part would be getting contact with them, but basically, if the mining pool will say that we take fiat payments to prioritize certain transactions, then you can do that.
Sure, they already do that.
And that's kind of already throws out this whole narrative of uncensorability.
No, it doesn't. That's the same thing as being able to advertise in a newspaper. It's the same exact thing. Is your ability to put an advertisement in a newspaper somehow fuck other people over? No. Does your ability to prioritize your transaction with a certain miner, which is the same thing as broadcasting it, which is the same thing as a newspaper advertisement, does that fuck anybody else over? No. Unless your blocks are full, and then it's just bidding, which is how the system's designed to work anyway. As though you're assuming a bi-directional relationship between something that's just one directional. You being able to prioritize your transaction has no effect on anyone else's transactions unless the network is full, which is not. And even in that case, that is designed to be in the system that the person that pays more gets priority. So
okay, I like the newspaper example because that could be compared to the YouTube. Because why is when YouTube takes hundreds videos down, why is that called censorship?
Because that is you're removing things. You're destroying speech. You're removing speech. You're preventing speech.
Yeah, but if you pay a biggest miner not to mine your block, then that's also censorship.
No, but you just theorized that could happen. There's no history or record of that ever happening, and it is irrelevant because they would just have their shit mined somewhere else. If you paid 99.9% of miners not to mine someone's block, and the 0.1% mined it, you achieved nothing at great cost.
Well, do you remember this Stoneways 1 sat per byte?
Yeah, somebody chose to put his shit in a block, and they fucked over the other people in the mining pool. So what?
Well, we can theorize that somebody paid to get this transaction.
Sure, but that's the whole game. That's what do you think you pay? What do you think miners are a fucking charity? You pay them for work that they do. So you're just choosing to pay them for work. Like
for me, if a YouTube deletes a bunch of videos, it's the same as biggest mining pool doing the same thing.
But no one's doing that. That's just your theory. There's no one in the history of crypto that has ever said, I'm not going to mine your block, because it's stupid, because someone else would just mine the fucking block and then you just have less revenue.
Yeah, but that would be like same as saying that YouTube took down your video and uploaded on Vimeo. Like
you understand people mine empty blocks, right?
Because if you can't get your video to people through YouTube, you can do it through Vimeo.
It doesn't matter what miner you enter from. It still gets on the blockchain. It doesn't matter who mined the block. It's still going to get on the blockchain. People mine empty blocks. Fucking network still works fine. There's empty blocks with no transactions in them. They get mined all the time. Empty blocks. Network doesn't give a fuck. They just wait. They just get mined a little bit later. And actually, statistically, that's not how the timing works. But
was the empty blocks somehow related to the SegWit thing?
No, it's just like if you find a block and you publish it first, you are more likely to get the reward than anyone else that might have also found that block at the same time.
So was it faster to mine a block if it was empty?
Yep. Yes.
But was that the boosting or that's something else?
Nope,
or
unrelated.
What is the boosting?
Boosting is where you cheat on the nonce to make it simpler to solve by doing some shit that people didn't know you could do mathematically. And so it gives some miners an ability to get effective hash rate with less cost due to increased energy efficiency. So you can read the patent. So there's an ASIC boost patent written by Tarmo Hanke, or Hanke. I think he's like a Danish guy. So Tarmo Hanke has the patent on ASIC boost, and it was sold to ASIC. It was sold to Bitmain in China. So like, it's out there. You can read the patent, and it's just a way to do the math to get more effective proof of work without actually having to do some of the work. I think it gives you like a 3 or 4% efficiency boost.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know my speculation what happened with YouTube and Google?
Oh, I know what actually happened. They already declared it. They said it was a mistake.
Yeah, but what was the mistake?
I think the mistake was related to the new child shit that they rolled out, the COPPA.
Yeah, but that would mean that some of the YouTubers actually marked their videos safe for kids.
Well, I mean, obviously some of them would, because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't someone talking about software think that their shit was safe for kids? Are you afraid kids will learn about freedom? Are you afraid kids will learn about code? It is safe for kids. Now, I'm smart, so I had all my shit marked not safe for kids because I'm smarter than the average bear. But in reality, it is safe for kids unless they don't like cursing. So it's like, you know.
Well, how I understand this safe for kids is basically, if you're saying it's safe for kids, it means that it's videos that are for under 13. So basically those like baby shark videos and stuff like that.
I don't know.
So if
I'm not an expert on what the law thinks is good for kids. Okay. So I marked all my shit for adults anyway. But in reality, I think there's a lot of videos that I've done that should be safe for kids. I'm just taking the less risk route.
My theory, okay, are your videos just like not safe for the kids, but are they for adults? Because YouTube has two settings. Like one is for the safe for kids stuff, and the other one is like 18 and over.
Look, I treat all my videos as not safe for kids to be safer in my relationship with YouTube. In actuality, I am very positive that many of my videos are totally safe for kids, particularly the earliest videos that I've done that tell you how to be a good friend and give good apologies and, you know, not get drunk when you go out. So, or get drunk less. There's a lot of videos that I've given that they're, you know, I don't think kids have much of a drinking problem, but you get the idea. And I still mark them as not safe for kids for safety. It doesn't mean that they're not actually safe for kids. I mean, what in reality, what exactly is not safe for kids? It's like kids play violent video games all day long. So I guess violence is okay.
The way I understand that there's two settings, and one is basically for telling like should this go to the kids YouTube or not, and the other one is like, is it for adults or not? So there's three sectors, like the kids, teenagers, and the adults. But I also noticed that none of your videos have any ads.
Yeah, I got that turned off. So I'm going to read you YouTube's definition on determining if your content is made for kids. And the FTC released their own fucking blog post on what makes shit safe for kids or not. So, according to the FTC's guidance on COPPA, which is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, a video is child-directed, which we will call made for kids, if children are the primary audience. Children are not the primary audience, but the video still directed children based on the factors below, known as the mixed audience content. And then here's the mixed audience content. Subject matter of the video, educational content for preschoolers. Whether children are your intended or actual audience for the video. Whether the video includes child actors or models. Whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures. Whether the language of the video is intended for children to understand. Whether the video includes activities that appeal. This is so funny. I can see, I can imagine trolling shitcoins by like how stupid the people are talking in there and being like, this is obviously designed for children. Whether the video includes...
What you're saying right now is those baby shark videos, like these kids songs and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is what it... Look, I'm learning right here along with you. The first time I've ever read this shit. I'm almost done with it. Whether the videos...
I have different theory what happens.
Go ahead.
So my theory is that when you upload a video on YouTube, it automatically gets transliterated into text. So anything you say on YouTube video is in text format too.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the automatic captions or the subtitles. So I think they just blacklisted some keywords. And it was supposed to affect very small number of videos, but they accidentally took down a lot of crypto and poker and stuff like that.
It's possible, sure. Yeah. I mean, look, they didn't take me down. So the question is, like, what is it that other people are saying that I'm not? It makes me wonder.
It might be that you had no ads. So
yeah, sure.
It's probably like not just one criteria, but I suspect that YouTube has like multiple criteria when they blacklist something. Like, did this video contain the word this, and did it have a link in the description to this website and so on.
You're assuming a lot of competence on Google's part. They do actually just straight fuck up sometimes.
And their fuck up was that their rules were too loose.
Yeah, maybe, sure. Yeah, I'm not a fan of utilities not being regulated as utilities. I don't like the fact that if you get banned from things that you need to have your social livelihood and your financial livelihood, depending on what you do for a living, I don't think that having Google a utility not regulated as utility makes the world a better place. I think it makes the world a worse place. It is a fucking utility.
But for who was this actually like a surprise that it can happen? Like, I mean, I'm not popular on YouTube, but I have an account since like 10 years already, and my
YouTube fucks people up all the time.
Yeah, the way how I knew that like YouTube doesn't have its shit together was that I made a video and I added a soundtrack with their own audio swap library, and they marked that video with a copyright strike.
Yeah, they're all fucked up, dude. Like
that it was in their library.
Yeah. Yep. It doesn't surprise me at all. They're fucked up, mate. Like, and it's, bro, when they ban you off YouTube, they also ban you off every other Google product. So like you can lose your Gmail and your fucking YouTube and your fucking AdWords account, and you just lose it all at once. Not always, but sometimes. And like, it's not fair. It's not nice. It sucks. And it's how the world is.
And that's why for me, it was like weird to hear this, that people think that there's some kind of censorship, because like it's known that YouTube fucks up regularly.
Yep. Yeah, they're not a fucking good company, man. Bro, I'm looking at this Obyte chart on CoinMarketCap, and then this shit does not look good.
Yeah, it's sad, but I think it will get better.
Why not do all the cool stuff you want to do, but without lifting up all the dead weight of all the bag holders that are useless? Just do the cool thing without the dead weight.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of horrible bag holders with the Bitcoin airdrop, actually.
Could be, sure.
But some of them are actually really good holders because they are still holding.
Here's the thing. See, that's the problem that people have. They think that because they bought a bag, that they deserve the world. Once you've already bought your bag, you're useless to the price. The only thing you can do is not sell. But you can't you can't press the green button and move the price up. The only people that are useful for price appreciation in cryptocurrency are the people that can fucking buy. People with day jobs that are inputting new money. They can press the green button. So just not pressing the red button doesn't help the fucking price. It just makes it not go down faster. So like the people that matter most to a cryptocurrency are the people that haven't bought yet, not the people that have bought. The people that have bought are just lottery tickets to dumping on your ass later. The people that haven't bought are the people who can move the price up.
Well, I have a strong belief that the autonomous agents, which are the same thing as Ethereum smart contracts, are gonna make the bytes a lot more useful.
You guys had a full sports betting fucking thing on there. That's more than useful enough. If you couldn't pump on a full sports betting thing, exactly what is the next thing that you're hoping will work? You had an illegal thing with oracles already there that you couldn't make work. So
yeah, but
hope for the next
really
illegal
difficult
thing?
to market that.
So like, what's the next illegal thing that you could target to hope to have a high enough margin to hope to make it work?
Well, I don't believe in marketing illegal things because they have very limited amount of people. Like
right.
I don't believe in privacy coins either because like the amount of people doing drugs or other shitty things are quite limited. I think the legal stuff have more opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a larger market, but the problem is, getting 0% of a larger market or getting 10% of a smaller market, the 10% works out better, which is like most, if you read Paul Graham's Do Things That Don't Scale, there's a time for scale and there's time for not. And in the beginning, if you believe in Peter Thiel's 0 to 1 or Paul Graham's Do Things That Don't Scale, you really are better off doing the thing that just you can do instead of trying to, compete against the giants and just never making it. I mean, look, you're a good dev. Actually, I don't know if you're a good dev, but I think you are. And I think that you could build lots of cool shit. And I think that you're filtering all of your behavior as a human through this lens of pumping Obyte bags. And it's a tragedy because you're shoehorning yourself into a certain set of behaviors that's not optimum to pump a failed project, basically. So like, go do awesome things, but stop hamstringing yourself by thinking that you're awesome things. So it's just like if you're a comedian. Imagine if you're a comedian and you had a bag of Bitcoin and now all your jokes have to reference Bitcoin. It's gross and it sucks. When I see new news and I know that if I tie it back to Bitcoin, I'm getting a bunch of likes, that shit makes me sick. I don't like it. I don't like having to tie everything back to fucking Bitcoin for likes. It's gross. I want to be able to tell normal ass jokes without having to figure out how to shoehorn it to cryptocurrency for the fucking likes. It's, so basically I've stopped doing that.
But how do you know when the project is failed? Like what?
Well, it's not a question of failed. It's a question of, is it better to pump a bunch of dead, useless bag holders bags for the niceness of doing so for them? Or is it better to build outside of crypto where it's easier to onboard millions of people? See, the thing that I built, it requires censorship resistance. And as you've seen, a lot of motherfuckers hate it. They're jealous. So if they could turn it off, they would, because they're jealous cocksuckers. You don't have that problem. You want to build a killer app, and killer apps in general don't have fucking thing to do with crypto. And by in general, I mean always. No killer app has anything to do with crypto ever in the history of crypto. There's never been a killer app with crypto. So if you want to go build a killer app, fucking do it. And use MySQL and use SQL and use fucking Apache and use the shit that everyone else that has a killer app uses. And don't try and be the first guy in the fucking world to build a killer app that gets hamstrung with the shittiest database in the universe. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I see it that like it would make less sense to pump Obyte when it's 10 times more costly than to buy than it's right now. So
just go build an ERC20. Go build an ERC20.
I mean, you can. No,
look, it took years for me. So like,
the Solidity is so horrible.
It's horrible. It is disgusting.
I don't want to touch it.
But why are you touching crypto at all when you can make more money outside crypto? People are so excited and so fucking player hatey and whatever about the $7 million of Ethereum that's been transformed into HEX. $7 million isn't shit in the real world. It's nothing. $7 million in the real world is not shit.
Yeah.
That's how small-minded crypto people are. So like, I think that you should do software things. I think that they do scale. I think you can be wildly profitable. And I think you would be better served doing all those things outside of crypto. I think if you force yourself to shove crypto into it, you'll have 100 to 1,000 times smaller market and your chance of success will be lower. I'm telling you, you could get more money for your idea on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Go put up a fucking Kickstarter for whatever your idea is like.
For me, I think I will not do a fiat business ever because I don't dislike this idea that the money is in some counterparty's wallet, like some other custody.
So doing cash. Cash is better than crypto.
Well, I can agree with that, but I
It's not
don't
illegal. You're allowed to have cash business. It's like,
No,
I just.
you get so much trouble with cash. I mean,
But you don't think you're going to have the same trouble with crypto? Try and spend that shit sometime. You're going to get asked the same questions. More, actually. It's easier
only
to have
if
a
you
bank
want
account.
to.
Ever use it? Yeah. only if you
No,
ever want to have a real gooder service.
No, only if you want to get it into the fiat. So the problem is the fiat.
Nah, I mean, the problem is if you want to fucking go and buy a car, you go buy a Tesla for fucking Bitcoin. You'd be like, all right, well, I guess I got to go to this one dealer in Kansas City that will fucking take my Bitcoin. And he's just going to dump that shit on BitPay instantly. So really, what did we do? We just made BitPay more money. It's like, I don't know, man. Look, you like the project you're working on. You want it to do good things. I'm just telling you, like, you guys are already technically proficient. You've already got a lot of really cool features. It has not helped the price. It has hurt it because you paid to build the features. And so now it's like more of that won't work. So the only thing that's left is something that's not that. And in my opinion, that's marketing. And then if you're going to do marketing, why not just market something that has a better looking chart to start with?
Okay. Well, basically, HEX is the best thing to build right now during the first year when the price is low. Same thing is with Obyte. It's best to earn bytes when it's low. You don't want to earn them when they're 10 times more higher. And same with the HEX. You're late when it's 10 times higher.
But you have to understand that that's just a speculative position and that you don't need to confuse that with a job or what you should do with your daytime or like, yes, I think that buying things that go up in value is better when they're cheaper. Like, tautologically, like, yeah, that makes sense. But like, you don't need.
So right now it's the best time to get more HEX and get more bytes because they're
This
cheap.
assumes that the price is going to go up. You know, like it's.
So you think with the next bull run, there's some coins that will not go up?
I think so. Yeah, I do. Just because look at Mastercoin and look at Counterparty and see how
Does
they
it
did.
even work anymore, or
does what even work?
Mastercoin?
Yeah, it works fine. I mean, it got turned into Omni, I believe. I think Omni is the result of Mastercoin. I'm not totally sure.
Because I wouldn't even surprise that there's gonna be coins that doesn't work anymore and will pump next bull run.
Well, maybe, but like, you know, it's like, yeah, I got a bag of Prime Coin, but I'm not building on it to fucking hope that the price goes up.
How many full nodes Prime Coin does have?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I have to imagine it's terrible, is my guess. They just got delisted off Poloniex.
Yeah, so I wouldn't surprise if some like total nonsense is gonna pump, and that
but it
makes
doesn't
me
mean
believe
it doesn't mean
that coins that actually work will bump even more. But obviously, like the fresh coins with no bad history are gonna bump the most. So
I think that what makes coins go up is marketing and hype more than anything. And so none of your statements addresses the marketing and hype value of Obyte, which I believe is the only value towards pumping. Because if technology worked, your chart wouldn't look like it does. Because you've got okay tech.
Isn't the new people who join, aren't they creating the hype with it?
I don't think they're ever going to discover that your coin exists. I don't think they'll ever see an advertisement for it. I don't think anyone will refer them to it. I don't think that they'll ever know that it was ever there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
the world's not fair. Like life is not fair. Like there's no, you know, when people go learn about crypto, they go to CoinMarketCap and they look at the front page and they don't scroll down that much. And to them, that's probably what crypto is.
Yeah,
how else could it be?
That's like basically assuming that everybody comes through CoinMarketCap.
look, I'm sure they come all types of ways. We know that the ICOs did very well with no CoinMarketCap listings. So, I mean, obviously there's a whole shitload of ways to make this happen. But I think that if you think that marketing hype and buzz is what causes cryptocurrencies to go up, then you need to reevaluate the criteria that you're using to judge where to put your time. And the question is, why did Chainlink outperform Obyte this year? Is it because Chainlink does more? Nope. Okay. Why? Because they had better marketing. So when you understand cryptocurrency speculation from the perspective of marketing and hype, I think it's going to open up a whole new world to you as a speculator, because I don't think you're measuring it. I don't think you're looking at it.
Well, if we compare Obyte and Chainlink, there's one thing that makes them different, is that Chainlink has specialized in very specific thing that they're doing, and Obyte does like everything. So it's like harder to.
So you say cut off some of your features, just remove them. Like, we're not doing these anymore because they're too confusing.
Yeah, because you can do a wallet that has less features, because the official wallet is basically like this kitchen sink sample that has all the features.
I think you're ignoring I don't think you're understanding what I just told you. So I told you that you're using a technological engineering mindset and forcing that as the metric by which you just decide what has value and not. And I'm describing that there's something the opposite and tangential to that, which is marketing and hype and buzz, which has nothing to do with technology at all. And so I told you Chainlink had better hype and buzz. And then your brain said, okay, we're going to make it about technology again. And we're just going to make it that they had more features. No. So you ignored what I said.
I understand what you said, but what my point was that the reason why their marketing was better, because it's easier to market a single feature than lots of features.
I'm not sure anyone that bought that has any idea what it actually does.
It does the trustless oracles.
I am not sure that anyone that bought it knows that that's what it does.
Well, we have in Obyte community some very vocal fanboys who.
Oh, okay. All right.
Who know that how Obyte is inferior because it doesn't do as trustless.
I think people buy. I think people buy shit because the logo looks cool. I think people buy shit because the name sounds cool. I think, I'm very serious. I think the technologically educated people that understand what the fuck a trustless oracle means is like 0.001% of the audience.
Well, in that case, HEX is gonna bump a lot.
Maybe it's a little complicated too. Oh, our logo is awesome. Pretty cool. We do have a good fucking logo. We have a good name. I agree with that. Yeah. So, like, I think Obyte has a shitload of technology, and if the world was fair, it would have a higher value. And I don't think the world's fair. I don't think adding extra technology will help. I think your only chance is a marketing chance, and then even then, it's a hard road, man.
Okay, I have one more topic.
Sure.
So we talked about YouTube censorship, but there was another censorship which was Google Play. And I have a theory for that also.
Okay.
So I think you know my
theory.
You're talking
about MetaMask?
Yeah, MetaMask.
Sure.
So my theory is that
I already know the answer to this one, but go ahead.
So MetaMask is basically a browser.
You're not allowed to duplicate functionality from core products. So you're not allowed to just launch your own browser inside an app. Like they don't let you do that.
Well, do they have Firefox or Chrome?
Yeah, but it's like it's a different submission process. Like if you can't get in under one tag and then duplicate some full functionality. Like so that's one. So the excuse that they used is there was mining going on.
Yeah.
That's the excuse they used for MetaMask. But I doubt that's the excuse they used for Coinbase, and Coinbase pulled their shit too. So the MetaMask poll they use for the mining excuse, but I don't think that Coinbase pulling their shit off was for the mining excuse. I think it was for the browser excuse.
So if we take mining, then obviously they somehow misunderstood what the MetaMask is doing.
Yes, right.
And the reason
some idiot on the other side that doesn't understand shit about shit, that just makes decisions. Because in the grand scheme of things, these apps have no fucking users. So the MetaMask app might have like 10K users on it, and that's like less than the fart app and less than the lighting app and like less than everything, right? Flashlight app.
But the reason why they would confuse MetaMask with mining would be that maybe the MetaMask app was taking a lot of resources and crashing all the time. And if the app is crashing, it prompts the user with the interface to submit the error logs.
Yeah, but on Apple, the only way that you could install that app is by using a special beta version designed for that. You have to use something called AirFlight, which is like a special sandboxed fucking beta software install process.
Are you talking about the Coinbase or the MetaMask?
MetaMask. MetaMask was only available on Apple through a well, I guess so. You could have installed it normal on Android, but on Apple you had to install it in a separate sandbox.
So it didn't even get approved there.
Right, and it shouldn't because it's still beta software.
But Coinbase exists on Google Play?
I don't fucking know. I don't know. I think probably. Yeah, absolutely.
So my point is that I think they just saw some error log statistics and saw that the app is crashing a lot because running out of memory or taking a lot of resources. And then they just automatically blocked it. Same way.
But I don't think it does those things. I don't think
automatically
it
blocked the videos. So like there's nobody in charge of like anything on Google. It's all
it was
automatic.
Done. No, it's not. It was manually done. Well, it's that shit's manually done. Some cheap dude there decided that it was doing some mining cryptocurrency shit.
But what this guy saw on his screen was that, which basically said that take this app down because it's mining, and that's because
maybe
because
we're doing a lot of speculation.
Basically, this app run into the same rules that some script is telling on Google that this might be mining.
Sure, maybe, but why didn't anything else get pulled? It's like we're speculating out of our ass here with no evidence or data whatsoever. Like we might as well be writing fucking fan fiction for Star Trek. It would be more likely to be accurate. Like,
have you used the MetaMask app?
Yes.
And for me, it crashes.
My shit works great, but my phone also has like 12 gigs of RAM, so who fucking knows? Okay. My phone literally has 12 gigs of RAM, which is just hilarious.
I think I have 8.
That's a lot of fucking RAM for a phone, dude.
But it still crashes.
It's weird. I've never had that problem. But I've never tried to run anything. I've just used it to view the DApp like screen. I've never used it to actually run.
Well, I use it only for HEX also, and
does it crash when you're not running functions?
What functions?
Well, I just use it to view the state of the DApp. I don't actually try and run functions with it. I've never tried it.
No, the functions ran great, but the loading of the first load takes a lot of time. So that's the most memory consuming process.
Huh. Interesting. So you're saying that shit actually works? So you think HEX works with MetaMask Mobile is what you're saying?
Yeah, I've exited the lobby with that.
No shit. Yeah, I had no idea that even worked. That's cool.
But
I'd like to eventually know.
I think I haven't entered the lobby. I think I've only exited the lobby. And that's...
I'd like to know what works and what doesn't, and be able to advertise it and warn people against things that don't work. Because right now I just tell everyone to use Chrome Desktop because I haven't tested MetaMask.
Yeah, that's most easiest.
It's good talking to you.
Yeah, good.
I hope we did some learning for the audience.
Yeah, we definitely covered a lot of topics. Maybe we could have covered something more in depth, but I think that was pretty good.
I think we did a good job.
So thanks, and I hope that some people find it useful.
Hey, my pleasure, man. It's good seeing you chat, and I like to see what you say on Twitter. So if you guys listening, you want to see how stupid I am publicly, I'm Richard Hart Win on Twitter, and I'm Richard Hart on YouTube. And I founded a cryptocurrency called HEX, which is free for Bitcoin holders. You can go to hex.win, or you can click Tarmo's referral link if he has one. Do you have one?
No.
Oh, do you want to tell my referral link?
I don't want to give anybody my address.
Well, my referral link is pumpmentals.com if you want your 10% bonus. That's about it.
Okay, thanks.
Talk to you later, man. Ciao.
Bye.